And with that, I wish you all a warm welcome to today's broadcast of the LRS playoffs. We have Docta Esports against Mace Gaming right now. You can see the playoffs schedule. We have Docta Esports against Mace Gaming. Next week we will see Golden Lions against 9 Globant, and then the week after, and so on and so on. You can see. Sadly today I didn't have that much time, so you won't see the you don't see the usual preparation of mine that I would make before those games, and it's also why I start a bit later, but it's totally fine. In generally speaking, we have Mace Gaming here against Docta Esports. I think Docta Esports really upsetting Volticons 2 weeks ago, and I think Mace Gaming having a really rough time against Malvinas. Kinda sparks a lot of hype for this matchup tonight. Because it is hard to predict who will win, I think. Most of the analysts and casters have predicted Mace Gaming to win, and I do understand that. If we wait, I would want to write like this. If you look at roster, just as take it as face value, I think it will be interesting if Suyunku plays, because last time I'm pretty sure Kumev played. So yeah, let's see who plays then. But in general, just Mace Gaming, they have really crazy players here in their main position, on every position, kinda. And Docta, they also have really good players, so it will be very interesting. I think yeah, I see. Now I understand. Person in chat, their name I cannot read. So yeah, you can see the Mace Gaming roster, and you see a lot of players are really good. I think they're not top of the top in LRS. No one of them is. I think Mace Gaming a bit like 3v Team in LRN. They're the favorite to be third place, but maybe not more. I think Vision is a really good player. I think another thing about Vision is he's also really aura farming in a lot of pics that he's posting on Twitter. Honestly, I think it's kind of worth to share. He's really good. Hello Inoribi. Nice game yesterday. It was really great series to watch. Obviously sad you lost, and I think it was a really good showing. Maybe we have I'm sorry for you, but it was a good showing. I think it was really close. You could have won, but it is what it is. A bit unfortunate, but yeah, probably a great future if you want to continue playing League of Legends. I think you have a lot of potential. Here we see last, or 2 weeks ago, the series Malvinas Gaming against Mace Gaming. I think Malvinas Gaming really unexpectedly fought here really hard for against defeat. I think it was really crazy to see. Had crazy, I think no one predicted them to come that far that they came, to all the 3 games, all the 5 games, bringing us to Silver Scrape. But I think Malvinas really leveled up, and I think Mace Gaming looked not that good, so. I'm losing frames right now. I think my stream disconnected, but it's a bit weird because let's see if it's if I have to restart stream, maybe. No, we have it. GG. Yeah, if you don't know, Inori B is AD carry of Kites. Yesterday they played against 3v Team in the lane playoffs. They lost, sadly. Yeah, I think so too. I think yeah, in this smaller game, in general, I think the last game was really hard for you guys because you on Smolder and also Daik on Nasus, you couldn't really reach the champions of the other side, obviously you had really big scaling on both of these champions, but if you cannot, if you just can never get in range, then it's kind of rough. A bit sad. Here we see again roster of Docta Esports. Interestingly enough, like the league player still has Kumev still as only substitute, but I think he has played all the last matches for like quite a while now. I mean, like over a month for sure. And we see him here listed again. So technically, Docta Esport has more player. I mean, Mace Gaming too, so we could see some roster swaps mid-series, but I would doubt it probably. But regardless of it could happen. I hope we see like some player comparison. I think I'm really interested in like seeing midlane stats and stuff again. I think Cypher of Doctor Esport Club is really good there. So I'd like to see that again. Yeah, besides that, I'm again not too crazy prepared right now. Well, it's a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. So it is what it is, Here we see Doctor's last series where they're really upset at Volticons. I think like no one. I mean, to be fair, I wanna, I don't want to pat my own shoulder, but I want to pat my own shoulder. I have predicted that Doctor will win against Volticons, and then they did, pretty convincingly too. Honestly, was pretty hyped to see back then. Though I cannot really remember the series anymore because like really, really long time ago, like 2 weeks now at least, a bit more than 2 weeks. So. Despite that was kind of crazy to see that Volticons really, fall apart, honestly. They were considered like one of the best teams. Like I considered them like maybe even the best team going into the split. Like, I mean, Golden Lions also looked really strong and like 9city obviously too. But like considering that they won the first split, it was kind of like, I considered them the first, the strongest team, but they couldn't make up for it. What was a bit unfortunate. I mean, unfortunate for them. I think, like, if I remember correctly, I think, especially from Volticon's roster to highlight them, I think Matorte had, like, sadly a rough time that I can remember in the jungle. He had, like, a bit of a rough position. And generally, I think, I mean, it's a bit, don't want to sound mean, but I think, like, junglers and, like, especially LRS, they are, like, not too crazy, honestly. So interesting to see here how today's junglers will face, because I think this is like a very important role, and there's a lot of room to grow. And here we can see the both junglers in the as if I would know, in the comparison here, Neo and Adok. They're definitely one of the better ones in the region, but I don't think like. Again, they're not too flashy. Like yesterday we had like Dimitri and Grato, like two really, really good junglers, I think. And I think Neo Aluk, they're like, if you would look at Latam as a whole, I think like they are more like in the, I think if I would group every jungler in Latam in like tiers, I think Neo and Aluk are like kind of in the middle of it, I think we have a very, very tight top. Then we have like some junglers that are like, that are better than the middle of the pack, but like, I mean, obviously it makes sense, the morph I'm speaking about, but I think like other roles are more stacked in Latam, just in general. I think like, will be interesting to see. I think Neo had in regular season had a lot of great performances, looked really good too. About Alok, I must say that I cannot really remember that much. Again, I had today sadly not that much time to prepare, but good that LRS Latam, they have prepared, and we can see here now champion pool shared. There's nothing too crazy here in the jungle department. We see an Olaf for Alok and then Shivana for Neo, some two champions that are not that usually often seen. Besides that, they kind of play everything that is meta. Like if you would combine their champion pools, that is. There's no Sejuani, but I think Sejuani is like not really liked in the LRS so far. Like was not really picked. I think in the LRN again it was like, is LRS harder? This is a good question, honestly. I think like, I think in general speaking, I think LRS and LRN, they're relatively equal, but I think they're just. If I look at the teams, like, and I look like, I look at from that perspective, like, let's take the perspective, what would you have to do to reach, like, promo tournament to either CBLOL or LCS, and then I think it would be far easier to get like top 2 in LRS, because I think like in LRN the top 2 teams are like really solidified, I wanna say, and I think like Fuego and Zeus, they're kinda, at least it's from my perspective, from watching their games, I think they're so clearly a step above the rest. While I think in the LRS it's like not that clear. Obviously I think like teams like 9ZG and Golden Lions, they're also kind of a step above, but I don't really would think that it's actually a good question, because like the Golden Lions roster is like really strong. It was like basically second place in LRN the first split, because like basically all the players from 3v teams, all team, like from split 1, were going into the Golden Lions in the LRS. So I would say they're basically equal. But I do think there are more high caliber players in the LRN, even in the lower teams. Like if I like jungle as an example, because I'm a jungler myself, and I think in the LRN you have like Grell, you have Dimitri, you have like Blindwalker and Gato. I think they're like clearly like all really good in their own way. I think like Dimitri and like from my perspective of watching, I think Dimitri and Grell seem like to be the clear top 2, maybe like excluding yesterday, obviously. I mean, even Gato didn't look that crazy yesterday every game, honestly, against Dimitri. But Dimitri also had like a stinker on Panfield. Zed is crazy, no? Zed is like taking everything in his hands, I think. I think so too. In my match preview yesterday, this is like in my match preview yesterday, I was saying this too, that I thought like 3v team, they lost against Zeus, and it kind of looked like 3v team had no chance, like even though they won a series, they only won a game, they only won because like Zeus had like issues with their support, but besides that, it looked like unwinnable for them. And I think like your series against Fuego, it also looked like Fuego clearly had the upper hand, they won against you, obviously, but it was like, it didn't look like you had no chance, But Zeld is crazy, honestly. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's like, trying to get like to tier 1, He's like, he's playing so good. Maybe. Could definitely imagine. Here we see prediction from casters for today's LRS match. Everyone is predicting Mace Gaming. I can understand it, but like, I wouldn't be too surprised if Docta Esports is making another upset happen after they just upsetted 2 weeks ago the Volticons as well. So yeah, I think Fuego has like I think Fuego, yeah, macro. Yeah, I think like those teams, like they have like Fuego and Zeus, they have like clearly good players. I think they play really good together too, so it's like crazy. Yeah, I think so too. I must be though, considering the team fight thing, I'm obviously not, like, I'm not a pro player, so I don't want to put my opinion here in the room and say, yo, I know it better. But I really didn't like in the, well, we can look at it, I think this is interesting, very interesting conversation. So I wanna pull it up here if we have probably some more minutes before draft starts, right? Because I have like some opinions about yesterday that I maybe want to share now. I'm not sure if it even makes sense, but whatever. Let me figure it out what game it was. This game, by the way, this game 3 here from Phoebe team, they had like in draft, we thought like that Exodia draft, like challenge queue was completely Goomba stomping in the matchup. And then, but they just couldn't, they just lost it. Wait, what is game what you lost actually? Besides game 4? Wait, you played 5 games yesterday, right? Why is only 4 games here? I mean, doesn't matter. Wait, I want to see... Like this game here, for example. what I didn't like about this game here, and I mean, maybe Adler probably knows it better than me, but from what I saw in the, like, from watching the game, I really didn't like that here no one is buying a Knight's Bow for you. Because I think, like, don't get me wrong, IYBC is also dealing a lot of damage, but he's like never, he will not, he's playing an EV, he's not like, with like the two HP giving items. He's like never one-shotting anyone, but you have like really a lot of damage, and they have like some champions that if they reach you, they can really fuck you up. So I think like the Locket is kind of whatever, because I would rather see Knights go here, in my opinion, and I think this is like something that this game here also already. I think on the Lucian here too. I think IYBC again, it's like hard game for him to play. He did some damage. Don't get me wrong on it, but I think like that you have like two tanks that don't go Knights through here for you when like your damage is so important in this game here. I thought it was really crazy here, especially like Dimitri going like with Heartsteel, a very egoistic build, because like Heartsteel, it is not the best tank item if you want to be tanky. So I would like rather have seen him here on a Protoplasm build with like Knight's Vote to protect you better, because this like it feels like in this game, like your draft is so easy to play as long as you're staying alive, because like they don't really have damage to kill the frontliners. But also what was in this game, I think a really big issue is like challenge, because sideline was just crazy good too. Wait, yeah. I think, yeah, that was also something. Now I remember the sideline was also a big thing here in this game. About the Baron thing, I'm honestly not that sure right now. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's why I wanted the Knights to win the game one so badly, because, IYBC was really having a rough one, can happen. No blame on him. But, they really needed to protect you. Yeah. Again, I think, like, last game was kind of sad, the final game here. Because it was so, there were a lot of people in chat that said, "Oh my God, Inori when it will go to game 5, we will pick the dragon." Completely Goomba Stomp again, and then they just banned it, what was made me really sad, honestly. A lot of viewers too, that you couldn't play Draven. Yeah. But again, I think it's like a really hard game, too, because more or less like they're relatively short ranged, and yeah, a bit unfortunate. And then you're kind of getting, like, even though you have like Smolder and Nasus, you're kind of getting outscaled, because like, Tristana is just, like, it doesn't matter that you have like infinite damage scaling when Tristana just one-shots you with more range. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. So yeah. But overall, it was a great series, I think. It was really fun to watch. It was also, I think your team was really the most fun to watch. Yeah. But I think like your team, in even though you couldn't close it out in the end, I think it was really fun to watch the team, like your whole team's journey, with like coming into the split, and then like there was this whole drama around Adlai, with the earthquake in Venezuela, that he was like even missing. I have seen the Twitter post that he was just missing, and it was like really crazy. And then he came back, but he couldn't play. And then you revived Dimitri's pro career. He came back, and then I remember I watched your first series being played. I'm not sure who you faced, but I'm pretty sure you had big internet issues, because there were a lot of pauses, and I can remember that Dimitri was like standing, like it looked like he was like the connection lost AFK, and you had no pause left, because like every team only has 15-minute pause, so it was like. But then I think you had, then you always like, you won when it was important, it was so fun to watch you. And like, I think I remember the one game where you played Tristana top lane with top lane Quest. This insane bot lane. It was so fun to watch, honestly, you know, it was complete cinema. And there were other games, you know, because in regular season there was always, you know, two games happening at the same time. And once we didn't watch your team stream, and then it was like, I'm not sure what team you played, but it was like, yeah, the game looked kind of doomed. You know, we had to pause, and then we looked into your stream, into your game, and then it looked kind of doomed for you. You were like 10k gold behind or some shit. And then and then my game is over. You know, and we look again what happened in your series, and we see you came back and won the game, and then we watched like all the team fights back and stuff. It was really fun to follow you. Despite that, you know, despite the yap about Kites Esports run here in the LRN, we have obviously the obligatory LATAM pause here. Game is delayed. A bit unfortunate. But it is what it is. Inoribi, do you already know, like, if you're still watching, do you already know what, like, your dreams, or, like, not, maybe not dreams, you are, like, what you want to do in the future? Do you want to, like, continue? Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it, you know, if you find a good spot, like in NACL maybe, or even more, you know, then I wouldn't blame you to go there. I think, like, I'm not entirely sure, but, like, you know, obviously there's also, like, a bit of money involved, I would assume, you know, so, like, you know, and, like, I think NACL is probably overall a bit more competitive. I'm not watching NACL too much, but, you know, just from what I have seen and the players that are playing, this is good. Good that you play for fun. I hope you will find more fun. I think it was really a fun time to watch you, honestly, to play. So that's why I think it's like, I would really sad to see you leave competitive in, like, entirely, you know, wherever you will find your next way. So. It was really good. It was a really good one too, you know. I think definitely something to be proud of, I think, in the long scheme of things. So. No, I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. I think like in generally in LATAM you have like just it is a bit it is just how history came together, you know. I think like back in the day LATAM was like two regions. You had like basically a north tier 1 region and a south tier 1 region, and like players from back in the day were like really good as well, like from like 2014, 15, 16 around, you know. And then it was kind of in decline. Then Riot Games made like the LLA, what was like a tier 1 region for LATAM, but north and south combined. And then you had like a lot of regional leagues. But I think in the LRN it was already, not in the LRN, in the LLA days, you know, from like 2018 to 2023, it was already like, it was clear that LATAM is like the weakest region that is like able to go to competitive, like to worlds and stuff. I think it is a bit sad because I think like especially in 2023, I think LATAM had like a bit of a revival. I think like teams like Rainbow Seven, for example, got like the first LATAM series win internationally like ever against Scum. What was like really big in the day, but then, you know, Riot Games came and said, hey, what do you think about just making the LTA a thing and like canceling LATAM tier 1? And I think now it's really hard for the tier 2 leagues. I think it is like, it's not just Riot's fault, also it's like also the viewers' fault, you know. It's like just in LATAM the League of Legends interest is not the biggest anymore, but it's okay, you know. Things not getting handled really right, you know. They're like also some, you know, I think like in LATAM you have always controversy that is like really bad. Like, you know, I think you probably have heard about the things that happened around the roster of NCG, you know, and stuff. It's like, you know, Yeah. It was like in Latam you have always like a bit of drama like this. I think that hurts the region also a bit more even. It's already like um I think not the healthiest scene. So a bit sad. But I'm still hopeful, you know. I think like 2000 I mean obviously 2026 is not over yet and we have like and you know, like if Astral Esports, for example, can win like qualification to CBLOL, that would be a really big thing. Or like, you know, even I think Fuego and Zeus, like, mm, I do think Fuego probably like I don't think their chances to qualify for LCS is like really high. But I would really hope that they have a strong showing at the tournament, you know, nonetheless. I would really hope that. And then could 2026 could be a really good year for Latam, honestly, like just in generally, because I think you have a lot of like it is funny, but there are a lot of Latam pros that are like really doing well right now. I think like you know we have Jose Diodo, for example, playing in LCS and it's like really good in Team Liquid, and I think this is like it might be just what the scene needed, you know, like a strong leading person that is like showing that, you know, Latam League of Legends cannot make it to the big stage still. And they're really, you know, really fun to watch them. Then we also have Lion, you know, obviously they don't have any Latam players anymore, but the Mexican peso, you know, is rolling and is also, you know, a bit of more exposure for Latam League of Legends in a way, even though there's 30 no players. And I think even in like if you look at like Brazilians like CBLOL, we have like players like Steps and Kaza and Ackerman that are dealing like that like doing really doing a great job of representing the region. Um I'm also a big fan of Leviathan though, you know, but who do you think will get the rookie of the split? Um But Zeld is not a rookie, you know? Rookie of the split cannot go to Zeld because he's not a rookie. I think. I mean, we can check, but I'm pretty sure Zeld is not a rookie. I remember this guy from before too. But we can look. Because, like, look, if you see, this guy is not a rookie. He has played in, like, you know, in tier 1 already before. So, he was kind of a bit more, you know, you can see here with, like, MVP, yeah. I think like if you're straight up just looking for like not rookie of the split, but MVP, it must be Zeld. I think Zeld is like, I mean Zeld is already a bit old, you know. Don't get me wrong, he's like 26 years old. But I think if there is another player that is like you know Jose Diodo, like Odi, you know that like you know another Latam player that could reach could reach pro play, like tier 1 level, then I think Zeld is making such a strong argument right now for himself. I really hope it works out for him. We can look who rookies is. I'm like yeah, I think too. Like you're definitely one of the top 80 carries. Like let me I have to have this one on the screen too. Wait, let me check who is even there for Rookie of the Split. Now I fucked it up a bit. Are we going into draft? But I kind of like the conversation right now. We are co-stream, you know, I don't have to, you know, I don't have to follow any rules. I can check. Let's see who we have there for Rookie anyways. Because I don't think there are many rookies playing, right? Like we have MyQ from MyQ and to some degree Challenge Q from like Freebie team that are rookies. I think MyQ is an interesting prospect for the future, but he's definitely not like, you know, he was not crazier than you. I think Challenge Q, like in the end, you know, he's doing like a lot of crazy stuff, but I still think like with like Freebie team is just in generally, I think like with regular season how it was going and stuff, looked like the more crazy team. So that being said, let's see who's else rookie besides them. Then we have like you. I think Adler is also kind of rookie if I'm not wrong. That's kind of it, no? Yeah, but not the same peanut, okay? It is not. It's not the same. It's not LCK peanut. It would be crazy though. Imagine LCK peanut is coming. It was a different. Yeah, yeah. Imagine peanut would, after military service, just joins Latam for no reason. I mean, it's so funny. Yeah, I think like I personally like it's something I have said over my co-streams like a lot of times that I have said that I really believe like you could be a player that like has you know I think that's something I've said. It's always hard to see because I just assumed that you study in NA. I think you're also in a university team on like Wikipedia, right? So I assumed that you're studying in NA. So if that being said, it's like always a bit. Are you studying in NA though? I thought so, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I got only because you're like in a university team or something like this too. But the issue is, or like what I've said is that you could be a player that if you want to like proceed the way of going pro, you could maybe like reach like tier 1 and stuff too. But like and I really regarded you highly in my co-streams, always saying like maybe if like you finish university and then you're still I don't know how far you are in university, so I cannot really predict, but maybe you're like imagine if you're finishing next year, then maybe you would try to even reach tier 1. I definitely think you are a player that like given time you could do. I mean, it's like if you have time for it, it's 2 more years that you can just play in the tier 2s if you want to, and then if you have fun competing, then you can, increase your skills even more, and then maybe maybe we see what the future will bring. But I definitely think you should be rookie of the split. At least for LRN, that is 100% true. I think LRS also not having the craziest rookies. So I want to show you something. Wait. I'm not sure how cool it is, but I read your message soon. Wait, I just need to find what I wanted to find. Kite. Okay. Plan was to retire when I graduate, but back in the days I was more explosive. Even when I thought I didn't pull them out by my Drake, my Chris, I was more crew track. Yeah, I mean, 2 years is really a long time, so in the end it will be, it's like hard to predict. So I will just hope for you that you have like enjoy your time. I think it's like most important thing right now. Look, this is like okay. This looks hella cringe here, but this is my initial this is my initial presentation for your team for like Heinz Esport when they came in. And I made like little presentations where I can speak about the players a bit. And it was like so funny because I had you there as like a player that is like playing 3 years in tier 3, and I was like speaking about you finally reaching, finally getting a shot at tier 2, even though you're like for so long time you played tier 3 and stuff, and it's kind of fun, to see where how far you are have been come. So kind of fun. But I must say this was not my best graphic. I have better graphics. It was one of my first two, so it's fine, I only do this for this season too. Before I was just a regular watcher. Besides regular watching, let's see what Mace and Doctor have cooked up, because their draft is over. We see Gangplank of Vamu. I think Vamu has played Gangplank before. Gangplank is something that we don't see a lot in Latam, but we have Nate. And Nate is really a Gangplank main, basically. And I think Vamu has picked it up from him. At least that's my feeling about it. Maybe Nate picked it up from Vamu. It wasn't the other way around, but Besides that, we see like Lee Sin, we see Victor, we see Silva, and Nautilus on the other side. We have now Jarvan, Cassiopeia, Kai'Sa, and Leona. So I think both teams have picked pretty standard champions besides Gangplank. Interestingly that we don't see any mages on bot lane, but there are also some mages banned. Actually, not that many, so honestly, kind of crazy. Yeah, I would imagine. That it was more competitive, you know? I think like League Esport is a bit of a on a turning point right now. Um, what the, like you know what competitive like especially in the like tier two, tier threes, you know, it is like mm, it is like more and more things falling into irrelevancy. I think the reasons for that are like obviously multi, you know, there are a lot of reasons for it, but I think like a player from the CB LOL, I'm not sure if you know him, Tatu, has like put it in words really good, often advocated from players to make more, you know, you kind of like, you know, the League of Legends as a sport, you know, it's like a bit of a decline, you know. Um, obviously multiple reasons for it, you know, but it just has a bit of a decline. And I think like players, if they really, if you want to stay in esport, you have to be good, but you also have to, you know, kind of create more of a brand of yourself to a certain degree, at least when you, if you want to have a crazy career. Yeah, good teams, but I was just always a choker. Yeah. I mean, this is like, you know, if you play, you know, if you play Draven, Kalista, Tutrick, you know, I don't want to say that I can see it in my eyes, you know, before my eyes. Can kind of see it before my eyes. These champions are a bit more used to. Oh, honestly, I like the music right now. They're a bit more used to being like these champions are a bit more used to being choke champions. That being said, I would like now is the latest point. I actually have decided now in my mind I want to spend more focus about the series at hand. We have Mace game against Doctor tonight. I will go back into casting mode now. No shit chat anymore. Or at least less of it. It was really nice speaking with you in Oribido. Like very insightful and very fun. But I will take more prowess to casting now because I think that is something that I have a lot of fun with. Let's see how the game goes. I think like this matchup, like a lot of people predicting like Maze Gaming to win, but I think like Docta Esports there should not be underestimated. They're definitely a good team. They already have upsetted one giant in the roster of the LRS. So let's see. We see an early game Kai'Sa or like a Kai'Sa in a game one is something that we really rarely see right now. Kai'Sa has like lost. It's not really the most preferred AD carry right now, and you can already see it against the Silver, you know, and to a certain degree against every mage that Mace maybe would have picked, you know, it is kind of not really easy to play early lane. You struggle with range and wave clear. The all-in is also, I would assume, like with considering how big the wave is and you cannot really proc your Q and stuff on like one target. It's like your all-in is right now also not the strongest, so Mace takes over the bot lane control here in the early game. The question, like the more important question here for Kumev is like how many CS he can get, you know? Like if he is like, if he can stay up with Vision like at least to a good degree, then this is like kind of all he has to do right now, and then they're waiting for exactly that, you know, an Ardok gang could here change this bot lane matchup a lot because in the end, Silva is an immobile AD carry. So the moment when Jarvan hits level 6 here, she could be in a very big threat. And I think before that, not much will happen here, though there is something happened lag here. We haven't seen why he has overstepped, but he kind of overstepped really far. Kumev wanted to reset, and I think leg just wanted to cancel the resets of Maze and managed to happen. It wave state is now okay. It will be like it's still like you could freeze it maybe depending on how it goes, but may not be freezable. Besides that, what else matchup do we have? We don't really see the camera is going away here from the bot lane. It's kind of glued to it. We see jungle invade here. Alok finds his target, Neo. Has backup though, but has to leave here at least. Even though he's like not dying. It is a camp secured for Alok and something that is really good to see here. Obviously, Cassiopeia has mid priority here in the early game because she is a champion that can just run a lot of mages down, you know? So, for Cypher, an easy time to get priority, and with like how the bot lane state was, like, could also rotate. Not the end of the world, though. On top side, we see slight CS lead right now for the Gangplank. It's like basically a wave ahead right now, and will be interesting to see. You know, if we have like in the LRS, like all the Gangplanks I have witnessed, they were never giga useless. But sometimes they were just okay, you know? And sometimes they kind of 1v9. So will be interesting to see what Vamo will present us here. I think Vamo and Nate, they both really look good on the Gangplank, and they're kind of making this champion like, I like watching them play this champion, you know, makes you kind of think, why is it not more picked by others? Because they're always having such a great games with them. Like even with the games where they're not completely go 1v9, they're still having a good game, you know? Like good laning phase and stuff. Just the rest of the team is usually in a better position to carry them. So interesting to see here. A bit of mid lane too, wo Cassiopeia has lost her flash now. Shohari hooking a minion here, immediately flash from leg, and they're sending everything on him, but they cannot kill him here. Neo is there to protect, but it will also mean that Nautilus loses his summoner spells here as well. Not the biggest deal off. Like looking for more here, Vision. Does not get a, you know, a quiet minute here on the bot lane. And Johari is really low, looking for another engage. Finds the AD carry. Gangplank ultimate is used as well. Nice play from Neo here. Finds it quick and easy. And Johari kind of baited him in, you know. I think like the Docta Esports squad, they thought like, yeah, the Nautilus is quite a low, you know, if he engages, we just kill. But Neo just beautifully swipes in, you know, and then with the Gangplank ultimate from top lane. Something that I really like about a champion like Gangplank is like, Gangplank always like, he's kind of like, I'm not sure how a lot of top matchups for him are, because we usually see Gangplank picked as a counter pick. I mean, Nate also blind picks it. We have seen it before. But regardless of it, Gangplank always seems to win his lane on his own. And then you have just a global ultimate that can like do a lot of damage, you know? It can help the team a lot with the added slow and damage. Now we see Docta Esports. They might be going too deep again. Flash from Vision here needs to spell shift the ultimate of Cassiopeia, but gets it. And with that being said, Mace, they're setting themselves up for success. Another one bites the dust here. Vision also slays leg. And with that, like 2 kills going into the side here of Mace again. This time though, on for an over-aggression of Docta Esports. Clearly like just invading here. On a timer where they maybe shouldn't have. I mean, Vision obviously flashed over the wall, and you know, maybe you don't expect the enemy AD carry to flash over the wall. Huh? Wait, Shohari died? Oh my god. Lol. How is he even gotten there? I'm a bit confused right now. The overlay, the overlay of the LRS is quite late, I would say. So I'm a bit like, my brain is a bit confused by this. It really confuses me when you see like someone is dying, but then the overlay still counts them as alive. I'm like, oh. Regardless of that, Mace Gaming, they're putting themselves in a really strong position here in the early game, and they scale quite well. Obviously, Docta Esports, they also scale good. But I think with a champion like Gangplank on the top side, you know, it's like, it is scary. It's definitely very scary here. Already having 2 assists and some slight CS difference. Yeah, as you see now with like how the situation played out, Hitsu is also now having a lead in mid lane, even though like usually Cassiopeia wins this early game. But kinda, you know, Cypher kinda wasted his early game winning by moving to places that were not good, you know. And now we have to see if Mace Gaming can put their lead out. Right now they're kinda waiting for the first items, I would assume. Kind of waiting probably for the first item, but that being said, Docta Esports, they're not waiting, immediately snapping onto the Sivir, and this is exactly what I mean beforehand. You know, if Sivir has no flash, she's just an immobile AD carry, and Docta Esports, they're immediately snapping onto her and taking her out here without a flash. She has still no flash for like 2.5 more minutes. So there's definitely potential to punish Silver again in the future. A good way for Doctor Esport to bouncing back. Besides that, we see Maze Gaming, they're kind of cross mapping here the grabs. Grabs could be depending on how strong Bamu is in the side lane, if he's like because he already had hit the top lane turret sometimes. So if he continues to be such a dominant side laner, then the grabs could be really valuable here for the side of Maze Gaming because then Bamu can extend his lead obviously a lot faster and a lot earlier than he else would be able to. But besides that, game is still chilling. We soon will see first items going in. I think if the first items are secured, we will probably see more aggression again, especially from the side that continues, like that finishes their first items first. Flash of Silver is still not there, so if Aluk wants, he can, I think, get in one more timing to gain the Silver before she has Flash. On the minimap, at least it looks like Vision is respecting this right now, not really stepping far up out of his vision line. Controlling the wave here. Still is like technically, I think, in a very good spot here, even though he lost his flash, he lost his flash offensively, to get more gold. So let's see. We see Neo is now there also to kind of cover them, maybe look for an engage. We see Alok on the other side. So I think Vision will get his flash, in peace. There's not a play that will be casted on him, but puts him in a quite good position. Still nice to see from Neo here to cover. Again, I thought like, if Alok would have wanted, it would have been a good window to fight on the bot lane. So covering it, definitely a good decision. Now we see some aggression around mid lane. Histo could be here the target. He has flash though, so Alok cannot really get it. Misses his EQ too, only deals a bit of damage, but in the end it will not matter too much. Histo is kinda chilling. Next dragon is spawning in 230. And we see like the top lane turret here. This is exactly what I mean. Already like losing quite a lot of HP. Right now, Vamo cannot really step up to hit it. But with the poke he's putting onto the nice deck, he will be soon able to hit it. Probably already next wave he gets another auto attack and another grab spawn into the turret here. What will make him stronger even more. And this is like really good to see here, I think, for the top lane. It's exactly what you want to see from a Gangplank, being strong, being in a position to fight, being in a position to deal damage to the turret, get more AD. And, it's like in carry champion. It's a big, big carry champion. On the other side, it could be obviously, if you're like looking at the game, I do think like Mates Gaming, they scale really good into the late game. They have like a lot of strong carries, but they also have like they are kind of like having three carries and the Lee Sin. And Lee Sin is like not the most supportive jungler. I mean, he can obviously. Now we see Mace Gaming. They're looking again for a play here. Alok is there. Lek losing a lot of HP. So is Cypher. He's flashing away now. Shohari is following him, but he has not the damage to finish him. Now Kumev is coming in as well. And the play in the beginning looked kind of good for Mace Gaming, but in the end, never mind. Like going far too deep, but still one more kill for Kumev is secured. Now Vision is here for the flash of the AD carry, but overall the play goes in Doctor's hand. Now Alok finds another one. The healing of Thunder Sky will be enough to make him basically not putting him in any danger. And now Doctor Esports, they're biting a lot out of this Maze Gaming sword here. Even though I think the initial looked not that bad, but then I couldn't finish, Shuhari just, I think for my taste, just going far too deep here, because like, he has no ignite, so there was just no way to kill the Cassiopeia, even if he flashes, he has not the damage to kill her. So, that being said here, Dr. Esport bouncing a bit back in the gold department. A lot of gold goes to Ganok though, what is not like, that important. But I think also like AD carry and mid lane kind of getting back into the game. What is really good, And one thing I wanted to mention before is like that like Maze Gaming, they kind of have like four champions that really need resources. While on the other side you have like I would say, without resources, like Lee Sin in late game, it's like it is not completely ass, but it's also not completely crazy anymore, And I think Jarvan definitely better at playing with less resources. I think also now can like drop more resources than a Gangplank can do, but probably puts the position of Kumev and Cypher in a far better one because they really really need resources a lot. So they will probably be in a position to take a lot more resources as well. So far, this is all obviously music from the future. We see Doctor Esports having the position here for on Dragon. Are earlier there, are in a better position, but we have to be careful here. Vamo again, Zul having ultimate, having a teleport too, and having lane priority. So if he wants, he can teleport. Now cannot do anything against it, but doesn't really seems like it. Now the ultimate is coming out. Dragon is secured by Kumev of all people. The fight still breaking out. Leg now walks forward to get a bit of CC off, but probably won't be enough. Now they're standing really deep here. Alok's ultimate is great, but in the end, it kind of doesn't matter. And with that, Maze Gaming, they just completely overrule Doctor Esports. And I think, like, after getting Dragon, they should have just retreated here. They had the position, like, to retreat. So a bit crazy that they didn't. Send it really hard. I mean, it was also hard because they were still stuck in the pit, but this is exactly what I mean before the fight. With Vamo having ultimate and teleport, you can influence the fight. And the Gangplank ultimate here on this point is not dealing no damage, It's obviously not dealing insane amount of damage too. But with like members of the Dragon Pit being stacked anyways, the slow and damage is like, hitting a lot of people. And even though maybe Gangplank ultimate is only dealing like 200 damage to an individual team member, what is like, it's not bad, but it's also not great. If you hit like 4 of them, 200 damage all of a sudden is 800, and that makes the team fight far more easy to play. Oh my god, the Kaiser W, have you seen? It nearly stole the wolf. That would, you imagine stealing the dragon and then stealing also the wolf would be so funny. But in the end, he didn't get it, so. Docta Esports is an interesting roster here. Another thing I want to say about them. What I think is quite interesting about their story in the LRS right now, in LATAM Tier 2, is they started their season with a different AD carry. They had Strange on AD carry, but Strange was picked up by Leviathan before the last bit started for them. And then they had like a very young, I have like Sunyuku, I'm not sure his name right now, but a very young AD carry from Latam, I think was also only 17 years old, like a really big rookie talent, maybe for the future. They have put him out for Kumev now, though. What I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. I think Kumev is playing really good, but I think Suyoku was also not that bad, so I'm a bit crazy. The Gangplank Barry is still dealing already a lot of damage, and Leg has to tank for his team here. He's tanking a lot in the end. He will be falling down. Harald is secured for Docta Esports, but they cannot get the eye. So Leg's sacrifice is kind of, not really gaining anything for his team here because the eye can just not be taken. Neo is now really deep. His kick here, nearly hitting Dynastic as well. I think if it hits Dynastic as well, he could look deeper. Goes in now, but Alok is ready here. Immediately combos him. But doesn't matter, he dies anyways. Maze Gaming in this position just far more stronger than Docta Esports. I just upset, they're kind of a good team, but the fights they are choosing here are not that great. Maybe they can find something. No, Shahadi even gets away. Winston is there to protect his support. And a bit rough here for Doctor, honestly. I think they're just playing into the strengths of Maze Gaming right now twice back in a row, what puts them really far behind now. Now they have to kind of make magic happen if they want to get back into the game. Because, I have said that, yeah, Maze Gaming, they have like 4 champions, kind of need resources to function. So it could be hard in a late game, if like game goes long, and like, game goes like, back and forth, then it could be hard to give the resources to all those players. But with how like the last 2 team fights were going, you can see it, like look at the gold difference. You have 2k on top lane, 1.4 on both mid lane and AD carry. So, definitely a good position to be in here for the time of Maze Gaming. Putting themselves ahead here too. Should be very close to their second items. We see Vision now already secures its second item, and that makes obviously the next fights in the future far easier for them. And there is a drag spawning in just 1 minute, so those second item on Silver will be put into use here, and will probably be a big deal. While Kumev probably cannot really play the fight as good, or like not just Kumev, but like while like Docta Esports will not be having a great time here. The Infinity Edge already secured here. So a big power spike here for the AD carry of Maze Gaming. Obviously, as an AD carry, you only it's not like he could, later item his third item power spike will be even harder, but already pretty good. We see also on Vamu now the second crit item. secured. It is collector here for him. So he has now also the 50% crit. And interestingly enough, I think collector is kind of a fake item, in the terms of like, obviously it's good for Gangplank because he kind of wants both the stats, lethality and crit. And he kind of, I mean, honestly, it is like the thing is because mathematically speaking, even considering that collector has an execute, um, more of the times if you buy something like Hextech GLP, not Hextech, no, this is the wrong item. Wait, I'm a bit too old. Wait. This is like 6 years ago. The Hex Optics item, the Indie Carry item, is usually actually dealing more damage than having collector. Even without its passive, like, in the range increase. And it could be a funny item for Gangplank, honestly, because, like, the barrels, you kind of shoot them at far enough range to, oh, thank God, he just murdered Cypher here. Vamu putting his two items to work here. On the bot side, we see an aggression play from Docta Esports, though, but they cannot really get anything besides more platings for Dynastic, but he will not get gold back, like, enough gold back. On the other side, Vamu is, like, a really, really strong position here, making this Gangplank look like an S tier meta champion, honestly. Putting Cassiopeia to rest and also being a big impact for his team. And it's exactly, what I hoped for, because, like, Gangplank, it is. We have never seen a Gangplank in Latam, but sometimes Gangplank is also not 1v9ing, and kind of boring if Gangplank is not 1v9ing. Vamo here in this game, obviously, is also not 1v9ing. It's a bit that he's, like, glued to the top lane right now. But he definitely has great impact for his team already. And 3k gold up now on the Nar. Bro, this looks so illegal, as if he's like 3k gold up on the top lane individually. Dynastic is like sitting there and thinking like, okay, I have to deal with it. I mean, if Cypher's going to sideline, it's even worse, I think, just gets completely run down by the Gangplank. So Mace Gaming, they have now not just are they like in total just a lot of gold ahead. They like they can play the game on multiple ways. They can play for like team fights, but they can also play for the side laners, especially for Vamo here. That is right now alone. Docta Esports like looked for maybe a dive on him here, but Mace Gaming now is there, and again it's Leg that will be the first target that gets damage. Yes, it's going in again, but like Leg going in is kind of not really the best thing happening here, though. Vamudu losing a lot of HP. His shutdown could be massive. Gets the first kill, though, anyways. Now Vision again flashing forward here. Gets the next one. Hooks the next. Leg dies. Double kill for Vamu. Oh! Neo goes deeper here. His kick nearly found both of them. Cypher flashes away and survives it, though. And with that, the Nash will probably fall. And the team fight also going very, very great here into the side of Mace Gaming, not even losing a single member, even though it like looked shortly like Vamo could die here, but in the end, Docta Esports they kind of don't having the damage anymore to do that. And this Nash is falling really, really fast because also the Sivir is really strong. But we will hit her third items power spike now. Let's see what the players are buying. Obviously, the OLA is a bit delayed, but we will soon see the next items, and then it will be crazy. Any moment now. We have LDR completed for the top lane. Free item Gangplank now. Second item also for Neo. Sivir actually could not finish the next item. Still not having a free item power spike. But it must be said that, like, I think with the attack speed items... Oh, Vamo. He has to cook now. He still has flash, but he gets the C-chain of Doom. Now he needs to flash before Miasma comes, but in the end it doesn't matter. They have him. The question is just, can Docta Esports run away with it? Neo is now going in. Does not really find the kick here. Maybe dying. Dynasty, great now ultimate. In the end he will fall though. Still a lot of damage from Histo and Vision. And Luck is also running for his life, but will be taken down. Double kill now for the side of Mates Gaming, but I think all of... Considering, not the worst situation here for Docta Esports. If they're not losing more here, Johari finding a very, very confident hook here. Aluk, though, survives long enough, goes in here, secures another one. The fight in the end probably will go to the side of Mates Gaming. The 1v1 Cypher has to avoid the Chaos Storm, but can play with vision, he has better vision. But like, considering how behind Docta Esports were, like, getting an equal fight here right now, probably not the worst. Especially considering there's also a Nash on the menu. So, It's not just that you're like collecting a lot of shutdowns that giving you gold, it is also that you're denying Mace the Nash play at all here, not really getting anything with it. But it's kind of funny having Inori be in chat and he's saying like, oh, we didn't know what to do with Nash, you know? Maybe this is a Latam, you know? I honestly, like, you know, going back to this conversation, I think like a lot of Latam teams struggle with using Nash. Like they are like really like you know it is like it happens so often that teams are getting Nash and then they either just get nothing with it and then they get like you know go power up you know the gold graph going up by 1k but it's like basically just because you got Nash and it gives you like 600 gold you know but here you can see again Mace Gaming they're kind of fumbling the Nash and now Vamos holy shit though just putting the gun at the head of Jarvan and taking him out even though he is still dying in the end that was in a really bad position his burst damage is kind of insane here now. Now Shohali also needs to be careful. He's healing back up, but in the end, not fast enough. And Docta Esports, they're finding more here. The Nash power play already at minus 3k soon. And Kumev looking in here. But they cannot end the members here. They could not pay them out. This could be a really big goal swing if Kumev's play here goes into fruition. In the end, it still kind of goes. The turret secured here. Obviously, Hitsu is also securing a turret, so it kind of gets a bit equalized. But turret shutdown in the end, going into the high side of Doctor. That might be being overstaying here right now. Kumev is now looking for the 1v1 with Vision. Gets a kill here. Double kill secured, but no shutdown on the head of Vision, so it's not the best trade, but also again not the worst trade either. I think all things considered, I think it is a good situation here for the side of Doctor. Our game is a bit paused, but now we're continuing. Really nice of them to find this position. Back into the game and really carelessly here from Mace, especially considering that, like, you know, we have seen Vamu is so strong. You know, he's like getting engaged by 3 people and still one-shots Aluk, you know, no sweat. So I think like Mace Gaming, they still have basically the control over the game. They just need to, you know, get it back up. Docta Esports again looking immediately aggressive again. And Mace Gaming, they're kind of respecting it. So kind of like, you know, control actually in Doctor's hands. The goal kill is minus 7k, but Mace Gaming, they're looking like a bit like they're now in the position, oh, we have to respond. They're getting pushed at multiple angles and have to, like, always playing the respond game and the running away game. So interesting to see with what confidence Docta Esports finds a way back into this game here, even though the goal kill is still massive. But the issue is here also, again, you have, like, you know, it is, again, like, you know, Lee Sin is not the best setup champion. Especially, like, in the later game stages, you know, it's not, like, as easy to play as a Jarvan, you know, in team fights and stuff. So I think Docta Esports, they might just profit out of the fact that Mace Gaming have maybe overloaded their team comp with carry champions. But they only have like kind of 2 carry champions. And yes, it looked a bit rough in the early game, you know, in the early mid game. But now they're kind of back at it. You see Cypher also having gold lead here. And now in the mid lane. And while Kumev, yes, he is kind of a lot behind the Silver. And I don't want to say that, but Vizium is still looking like, you know, being in a better position. The 1v1s, like when Kumev really connects onto Vision, he still always kills him, even though he dies in return. So he's definitely having some damage in here now. 3 items. Leg is flashing forward. Finds his nice Solar Blade again. Finds more of it. Gets kicked out of it, but kind of doesn't matter. He has used all of his abilities. In the end, Docta Esports maybe just still putting too much effort into disengage here. And with the disengage, not disengage. And with that, they're getting kind of aced here completely cleanly, I think. Confidence, you know, can be good and can be also reason to lose a game here. Overconfidently, Docta Esports, they're going really deep into this fight in a 5v5, and in the end, the 5v5, they're still losing because the wallet gap is just still too big, and like champions like the Gangplank here just dealing far too much damage. That should be the game too, I think. Mace Gaming should be able to continue, like to finish this game. Yeah. they will be able to finish this game. Starting the series strong here with a dominant game. Yeah, Docta Esports, they kind of found Mace Gaming, with the Nash struggling. But besides the Nash play, I think Mace Gaming, like, from start to finish, very dominant. Winning the first one here, proving everyone right so far that has predicted that Mace Gaming will be the better team here. And in the first game, they definitely were as well. Still, I must say, players like Cypher and Kumev, they had like strong attempts. I think all also had like some good engage. Same for like, obviously, I had a lot of bad engages too, but there's definitely potential for them to maybe find a way back into the game. It's like in the end of the day, it is what it is. You can lose, you can win. But it's not the end of it. We will go into a short break. I will use this break to get some water and, get some break. Read some messages I haven't gotten. So I will be right back. I make music a bit louder, and then I hope we see us in game 2. Be right back.
Y la primera partida, mi querido Yeti, cae en manos de Mace, pero no solo de Mace, en particular un Vision y un Yuhari, compañero, que andaban pero encendidísimos. En especial este soporte Yuhari que hizo de las suyas a diestra y siniestra a lo largo de toda la grieta,
Sí, no, y su Nautilus tiene sello autorizado de ser un Nautilus de aquellos. Se notó de principio a fin y se confirma lo que tú mencionabas, que tú veías que la botlane de Mace es de lo que más te ha convencido y en este caso se notó, pues le das recursos a Vision y te destruye la partida. Una buena partida también de Guamu, no sacó tantas kills, pero sí estuvo generando presión, hizo mucho daño también con los barriles en un par de fights. Y yo sí pensé que iba a ser más pareja la partida. O sea, sí se notó que estaba muy cómodo Mace con ese draft. El Sivir Victor, también Neo muy activo con el Lee Sin en la mayoría de los asesinatos. Y es bien sensible cuando el AD Carry se fidea tanto. Acabó con 14 kills Vision. Pues no hay manera, no hay línea frontal que te pueda aguantar ese daño. Y aparte con la W, con los ricochets, sin mucho esfuerzo termina haciendo muchísimo daño Vision.
Then I want to announce my return. Here we see like again. Oh, you already see for a moment longer than me. The moments of last game. I think like I think Doctor Esports definitely had a chance at winning this game. But then there were like two sequences where they just back to back fighted on positions where they should never fight, but put them behind. Then here you can see, with the Nash play, there's like the number is like really crazy negatively. And even here in the end, even in the end here, fight going kind of equal. Doctor found a way back into the game, but here they just completely overextended it. Don't find the members, like really going far too deep, connecting on no one, and what takes them out in the end here, and then also ending the game quick here. So I think like Doctor Esports, they definitely have chances to bounce back into the series, but it was a really rough one, I wanna say. So that being said, not a big deal though. Let's see if they can bounce back. Here we see endgame statistics, and obviously it looks a bit rough here for Doctor, but I think, there's still potential for them to bounce back into the series. You can see, you see like, at the 15-minute mark, the first sequence happens and then immediately the next sequence happened after, and you see like this spike here. I mean, right now you don't see it because I have no internet. Oh shit. Oh, it's back. And now my stream has to come back too. It's back. Okay, I'm not sure if you have seen it. It's so I just want to speak about shortly. Here you see like the first big event of the sequences that like made their game really hard to play, basically unplayable. Then here's the Nash is happening, and they're getting like 3k gold back, but then they just send it in and lose. That's funny. That being said, we should go into the next draft. Sorry. Getting my music ready. So yeah. Yeah, Vision getting MVP here is definitely 100% understandable. I think Vamo also had a great game, but I think Vision has played very aggressively, very greatly stepped up at moments where not necessarily where needed to, but there were a lot of aggressive flashes, a lot of very aggressive forward clicking. Something that I really like about Lee Sin, he's just taking the risk, taking the, not necessarily the risk, but like taking the aggressive stance here on his Shiva and in general as a player. Made him like really strong in this game. Did a lot of damage too. I mean, all of his free deaths were basically because he clicked very aggressively, and you can criticize that to a certain degree. I would agree. But if if you have 3 deaths and 24 kill participation, like 14 kills as well, I think like dying 3 times in return is also not that big of a deal, honestly. It's honestly crazy game one for him here. Let's see how he will bounce up into the future. We will probably soon enter the next draft. We're not sure yet. So yeah. Again, Doctor Esports, I think they have every chance in the world to bounce back. It looks a bit more rough than it should be. It's like it's okay. It is not perfect, but
honorífica y el MVP honorario, de Magma.
Ahí está, gracias. Yuhari, era para vos. ¿Sabes que igual tengo como un tema? Porque acá hay algo muy importante que vos mencionabas.
Did I just snorted my nose? Like, did I like made like the noise like this?
Que es el hecho de
What?
que cada uno de los jugadores de Maze no son tan
No way, this
independientes, ¿no?
thing.
Todos
Bro, I think I have not muted myself for that. I am sorry for every listener that appeared that. Oh my god. I was just in my mind, you know. Today is a very, you know, that's why I had no pre-show either, you know. Today is a very, very, very tough day for me. I'm very tired, you know. So, excuse my mannerism here. I have just, if I'm tired, I sometimes zone out and forget that I'm existing. And then I do things that I usually wouldn't. That being said, we're going into draft, and this time, with no shit chat around, we're going into the hype draft music, and let's see how it goes. Not that I didn't like the shit chat, that was no hate, by the way. An early Yorick ban. Interestingly, we see also Bard ban. On the other side, we see Nafil Lucian. I think the Yorick ban is kind of interesting, you know. I mean, I know that Dynastic likes to play Yorick, but it also like kind of gives you lets you think if Wamu maybe wants to play something that especially gets countered by Yorick, but I'm not sure what would it be, you know. I'm also not sure who's first pick right now. I mean, it must be blue side. Yeah. Maze Gaming is first pick, so maybe they want to pick something really early that's crazy. Lock now banned as well. Understandable, is a strong champion, even though he has lost a lot of priority and strength over the past weeks, but definitely not weak at all. Varus now banned. A really good flex pick here that could be dropped for Visium and Vamum. Now I'm curious about the first pick here, honestly, with the ban rotation. Camille technically open, that is something they could play, you know. Besides that, like, a lot of mages are still open still, you know, like Zeke, Syndra, something champions we usually see. So I'm not sure how, like, you know, I don't think Kumef and Visium are the AD carries that really like to play those champs. We see a Nocturne pick here. Another really strong first pick. Can be, there's still like the Oriana pairing that technically is there. Oriana is also a pretty weak champion, so if like Docta Esports would now pick it, then it gives Maze Gaming a lot of options to attack it themselves. They are right now thinking about an Ezreal. Would be a good pick here. It's kind of fine against Nocturne because you can take him, you know, you can buffer it like in a way that you could dodge an Oriana ultimate, for example. Nocturne Oriana ult is dodgeable for Ezreal. But it also, you know, if there's no Oriana, then you can just, if not the ulti, you can just be away from him, you know, after he's landed on you, to get the distance. Or, you know, if like the position is really hard for Nocturne, and you can just dash backwards, and then Nocturne is in all in like your whole team and just gets one shot. Vi now picked as well. I think Vi is an okay answer into Nocturne. I'm not the hugest fan of Vi right now, that early in the meta, especially considering there are not yet any other champions picked by Maze Gaming, but if Nocturne, you usually want to go forward. We see now a Jace blind pick. That makes sense, but Yorick was banned. Yorick is one of the more classic answers that we see into Jace a lot of times, so, you know, makes sense. I would think they should pick a champion that is like really good as a pairing here, but they could also pick an AD carry, just, you know, skip support and mid lane for later, and, you know, just pick AD carry because you don't have to blind pick. And we are very early into the CDS too, so look, they're deciding for the Shen. Shen is a really good pick against Nocturne, funnily enough. And he has a really good pick against Vi too. So definitely a champion with a lot of priority in a game like this. It also makes it harder for Docta Esports now to pick champions that are like melee supports, because Shen is usually really good against melee supports. So, I mean, I think Alistair's fine, no? Alistair could be something they're picking here. Deciding though for a strong mid pairing. Ari, another champion that's quite good against Nocturne. So both of the carries of Docta, they are quite well versatile here against Nocturne combination. And Nocturne also, like, yes, he has Shen ultimate, but he's not really any crazy follow-up yet. So Maze Gaming, I think drafting wise, they have to put more on the table here for me to convince me. But not the end of the world. Let's see. Galio is now picked. not pick, is banned, makes sense. Would be a champion that has the follow-up that Mace needs. Also enables them to play, you know, to not overload on carries, because Nocturne obviously a carry champion, kinda. A resource champion. Hello, Dayak! Welcome! 07 to yesterday. It was a good series, though. I think it was really fun to watch. Welcome, welcome. I hope you don't beat yourself too much, you know. Losing is hard, especially when you could have reverse ripped, you know. But I think yesterday's series for you was really good. Like in total, I think. And I think also you like the whole season for Kites and you was like really, really nice. I think it was also really fun to watch you always play, you know. So really nice to see. Besides that, what we have seen, the band phase going deeper here. Malphite Bun, interestingly enough. Is a champion that I would assume is kind of fine against the Jace. But still a bit interesting here. Let's see what else gets picked here. Alistar, something I have already said. Probably the best melee support that you can still pick into Shen from what is available. Everything else can kind of count us. But Alistar not really, because his abilities are not really, you know... Like the biggest issue of like the Alistar matchup is, or like the Shen is, like he can block auto attacks, and this is usually something that all of melee attacks, melee supports have, those auto attack stun abilities that they can then not use. But Alistar is not, you know, used to, you know, he doesn't need to auto attack, so he's fine with that. Corki is now secured. Corki Shen is a really, really strong lane on the bottom. They can play early game really aggressive, so like to see that. Yeah. I mean, last game for you, it kind of hard, no, too. I think for you and it's like, it's so funny last series, last series game, or it's not funny for you, but it is like you have both teams have like those hyper scaling champions. You know, you have a Kayle, Tristana, like two champions that really like that scale a lot with level. And then you have Nasus, Smolder that like scale with Q stacks, you know? And it's kind of funny, but then I think like Nasus and like especially for you and Nasus, it was so hard to reach them. You know, just in total, they had like many tools to keep you at bay, you know? And then you could just never reach them anyways, and then it kind of didn't matter too much that you can stack your Q really far. And for InnoDB, I think it's kind of the same, you know? Yes, he has kind of infinite scaling, but his Q range is not that high, you know? Tristana can just auto-attack you before you, before Smolder is in range. And then you can just basically not play the game until you have like so many stacks that you know, just one-shot the Tristana before she auto-takes you twice. But, bit unfortunate. I think last game was a bit sad, but besides that, I think really good series, you know? It was really fun to watch too. A lot of people were really hyped for you and Kites. Besides that, the draft now had concluded. We have a Rise pickup for males, and we have a Karma pickup for Doctor. Definitely something, you know, it will be interesting to see how the actual Karma phases into the Shen Corki, because Shen Corki is like a really strong lane in terms of all-inning, while Ezreal Karma, I mean, the all-in is also not that bad. Ezreal early game, you know, with like lethal tempo and stuff, it's like really good, but they're more known for lane dominance over, you know, having like priority and stuff, like having abilities that poke you out and stuff. So it will be interesting to see how both lanes face here. Besides that, we have an Ahri Rice matchup. I'm not sure who wins that, but I think Ahri, you know, she might lose early game, but at one point she has a breakpoint where she like can clear the wave very confident with one Q. At least the caster minions, and I think at that point she will take over a bit. Besides that, we are going into the game. Did I have a change? Music. And let's see, we are going in here. We see immediate aggression though, and Mace Gaming bot lane, they're immediately doing what I said. They're good at all-inning the enemy bot lane, but the trade is really hard here. Kumev loses his flash early. Vision has already flashed too. Okay, so both bot laners losing their summoner spells here. Barrier is still available in Flash for the support, but I think Shohari's Flash is far more dangerous here right now, because if he finds a Flash taunt onto Kumef, he could be just dead. Vision just tanked the Q here. Oh no, he takes the ult, and lose so much HP. He's a bit hard now. The lethal angle, as soon as level 2 is hit here, I think Docta Esports bottle. Oh, another Q hits Vision here, losing so much HP. He still has barrier, so he's like confident in that he is not dying immediately. And in the end, they can still hold the priority here. And now Shen is going in, but there's no way Vision can follow here. Johari is still full life, but Vision is like basically one auto attack away from dying. In the end, they have to reset here. So has the lane of Doctor though. And let's see if any farm advantages could be gained here for Maze Gaming for the early aggression. They need to be quick here with the wave. If they're not quick with the wave, this could be very, very dangerous, because if Karma would, enter the lane with full life, they can just run them down. But it seems to be working out for them. And I think they don't really get too much here. Now, what 1-2 minions they will get. So this is kind of good for them. Let's see how the continuation will be going. On top lane, we see Vamo right now having the priority on top lane. This top lane matchup is like, usually Jace has like against a lot of counter picks against Jace. He still has like the first levels, he has the better position, because like, as soon as Dynastic has like 2 armor items in his inventory, and I mean like 2 armor components in his inventory, then it will be kind of unplayable for the Jace, or like getting more and more unplayable for him. But so far it is not the case yet, so Vamo can still dominate the early lane here. Gives Neo also free time. Both junglers jungling the opposite way, so do not cross here. And there is maybe a top dive here. Dynastic really low, still has flash here, but they can step up. Q missed now, probably doesn't matter. Fear is coming in, and Neo is tanking it, and Vamo is taking it. GGVP. First pet here for Vamo is important, by the way, because if the Jace like gets really far ahead early, before he's falling off, I wanna say, then he can, he can hold his lane domination a bit longer. And it also must be said, by like, yes, the Jace in the 1v1 has like struggles against Cassandra and stuff later on. It's not like that he cannot farm anymore elsewhere, so Jace getting ahead here will still transfer into the mid game when he is like rotating from top lane away. He will still be a big threat for the side of Docta Esports, or like against the side of Docta Esports, because like his Shock Blast will probably deal a lot of damage to both Cypher and Kumef. Also for like lag, he cannot really tank it. Hadoken is also not really tank it. So like, him getting an early lead here could be really important if we're going later into the series, but I think for now it kind of doesn't really matter. Cassandra's game will not be in danger in any ways. Right now we see again bot lane. There is a trading back and forth, but with no real all-in finding of Maze Gaming, slowly but surely Docta Esports, they're just poking them out here, gaining control over the lane back after their level 1 was a bit struggling, I wanna say. They still have priority though, but doesn't really matter, they cannot really do anything with priority, and Docta Esports can also take the lane back, it's kind of fine for them. Dragon is now spawning. Theoretically, we could see early aggression. Leg here now going really far forward as the Karma, but he has backup, and with that, Arcane shift forward. Leg in the end still takes the kill, and this is a really, really good kill against Shohari here. I think he was kind of thinking this is free, but with all free things in life, they usually have a hidden cost. And for Shohari, it will be his life. Kind of drastic hidden cost, and the Dragon as well will be secured for Docta Esports. So Maze Gaming here, this time a bit on the receiving end. And again, last game, in the end it looked really dominant for Maze Gaming, but I still think Docta Esports, they have shown some signs of life. So they definitely can make a dent in the series, maybe even win it. And now they find themselves not in a lead yet, but like in a good position nonetheless. For now. We see Leg now also rotating here to the top side, protecting Cassandra a bit. With the early kill that Jace got, he's getting more armor. He's getting more AD than Dynasty can get armor right now, so he's still winning the race for a moment. What puts Dynastic again in a position where it could be dive. We have Neo ultimate, but they're looking for an invade. Obviously, far more easier to invade than to dive a Kazanti at this point. Still has flash and stuff. So definitely makes sense that May is only taking for now objectives here, or like camps away. Puts them in a good position. How is Mace Gaming so much more favored over Doctor Esports? While I feel like they play pretty evenly. I think it is a bit like that. If you look at the regular season, Mace Gaming was definitely the better team. It's a bit like yesterday, if you remember. For the V team, also like having a better regular season. Then, the ultimate of Neo is greatly used. Dodges the Shami as well, gets out. Obviously, it's like not the best, using your Nocturne ultimate for a Gromp. But it looks cool, at least, Neo gets out of danger here quite well. And yeah, again, back to the topic, I think Mace Gaming, they had just a very strong regular season. And I think like the series could go either way, I wouldn't be surprised. Here we see a botlane fight that we haven't seen apparently, where Alok just camped in a bush and found Vision as a victim. So the gold lead is in May's hands. So, because yesterday I think a lot of people also have said that Freebie team would win, and less people said that Kites would win. And I think this is a bit the same. It is also, but considering Docta Esports already, what is, speaking a bit for them, they already have upset Volticons, They have upset Volticons 2 weeks ago, what was really, really big. No one believed in them there either, so maybe they're just, maybe they're just like being, This is a best of 5. Yes, every game is best of 5. And now we see a tower dive on the bot lane here. Shen is going in. Ram Warp comes as well here. Shen losing a lot of damage. Could die here. Let's see who gets the kill. But it's only Karma getting the kill here. So kind of not really too much worry for the side of Mace Gaming. They're getting more out of it. And importantly enough here, there will also be a wave be completely lost for the side of Kumef here. And Vision here maybe dying to Lek in a 1v1. I think Lek could just make, his flash heal. I think he could have killed him if he wanted. If he would want to use the summoner spells aggressively here. But in the end, he does not want to. I mean, it would only be another kill for him, It's not the end of the world anyways. Neo uses his ultimate now. Nice flash. The fear, though, was cancelled anyways. In the end, it doesn't matter. Shen ultimate is invested maybe a bit much here. Shohari doesn't really need to ult here, but in the end, it is fine. Neo again securing the top side here. It is back to back securing top side camps. Puts Mace in a strong position. But again, I think Docta Esports, they're fighting back here. Overall, the position still very, very strong for the side of Mace Gaming. They're keeping definitely ahead. Well, let's see. The game is still young. A lot of things could still happening. We see here the wolves are also stolen by Neo. Alec was there, but in time he was not. So in the end, secure for Neo. That is putting himself in a good position right now, but Alec is also still keeping up, So it's not the end of the world. See now, first item is finished for Ramu. On the other side, we see the double chainsaws chest, You're really doing a lot of work here, trying to defend their position. Really hard. Understandable. Usually would say Cassandra probably wants to build actually resistance items, with full item. But with falling behind, I think getting armor is more important than finishing the item. And I think this is what Dan is thinking here. I'm not entirely sure about the math, but I think it makes sense. Because an item that Cassandra usually buys first is how do you say? Is Iceborne Gauntlet? And Iceborne Gauntlet, it's only one Chain West, and then the rest is invested into HP and ability haste. And right now he does not want to have that. He only wants to have armor. So buying a second Chain West, that probably makes sense here. In the end, Docta Esports still getting a dragon here. It is the second one for them. They're using the fact that, yes, they are a bit of gold behind, but it's only on the top side. They're securing the second dragon. And with that, Sham takes hold. Enters the map here. Interesting. Implications here obviously are like heal and shield power, like from the individual dragons that will come, you know. Like tenacity is kind of nice to have, but also like you know the individual Shemtech dragons are not like crazy value here this game. So Rabadon's Cassante. I mean, kinda going armor Rabadons, you know. Fight is breaking out on top side. You can already see Dynastic here playing very aggressive. It's a 3v2, but they're not scared to play aggressively. Nocturne Ultimate has to be used to defensively, and already we see Vamu. The double chainmail is really doing what it needs to do. Puts him in a very strong position, especially if you consider that both Neo and Vamu are AD champions. So there's nothing much that they can do Mace Gaming. They're investing more resources into this top side. He still gets spotted though, so Docta Esports did not continue to push here, and this situation will be cleared. And interestingly enough to see that like Vamor, you know, with like a double chain mill, you know, it's not dealing any damage anymore. But it doesn't really matter that much. You would say, yeah, but now his lead, you know, he cannot push it anymore. And it's kind of true. He can really not push his lead anymore against Cassante. But he doesn't need to push his lead against Cassante. He can push his lead against Cypher and Kumap, you know. He can deal damage to the carries, to the weaker targets, you know, to someone like Leg, for example. And that will be, in the end, the damage that will matter. Not how much damage he does to the Cassante. I think there are other members dealing DPS to Cassante. He's not needed to do this job. I mean, actually, like, if you consider, you know, it's like not that, you know. You know, if you think about it, like, who is it on Mace Gaming that really deals damage to the Cassante? Like, you know, Rise, okay, I see, especially with, like, how heavy Dynastic is right now going into the armor, but... Let's see, the damage already is not that bad here for Vamu. But a lot of members of Doctor going in here. Shuhari is face-checking. Neo Ultimate is used to, but Shuhari is taunting outside of it. Was not ready for the play. Like, you know, I think a bit of miscommunication. Now Vamu on the menu has to flash out. Gets snared anyways and is now charmed. Will be taken out even though the Shen Ultimate is coming. It's so clutch. But in the end it won't be enough. And I think here big mistake for Mace Gaming. They're just not on the same page. Shuhari goes out. Neo goes in. Unlucky here, honestly. I think if Shuhari taunts in, then this play would be looking so much better. Or if Neo is just not ulting in after Shuhari taunts out. But with that being said, Docta Esports, they're going in. Yeah, and Karma here, 4 kills already. But it's not going any carry build here. It's Echoes of Helia first, not going into more AP. But I'm honestly... You know, that would be crazy to go more AP on Karma here. I mean, interesting to think about how the game would go if Karma would go something like, you know, Malignance. Like, you know, what that would mean as a difference, but no, Roa is so ass. Please no. But like something like Malignance, you know, could be funny, but you know. Because especially considering there's no one really that can tank it on May's side. But Vincion here losing a lot of damage. Or HP. Two-shot barrage here. Not hitting anything. Try to find Vision, but Vision is funnily enough completely on the opposite side. And let's see. Alright, it's now spawned Docta Esports, their first gold lead here on the map. Still, Vamu is pretty strong, but again, he has to lane all the time against Cassante, so it kind of doesn't matter that he has so much gold over Cassante, because Cassante now has his first item completed. He's not really caring for whatever Vamu is doing to him. He's winning that 1v1 anyways, so... It'd be interesting to see here. In the mid lane, we see, like, you know, for Mace Gaming, obviously this game is not over yet, you know. You have champions like Rice, you know, he really needs to scale. He's like, he really likes the free item power spike, or like a little power spike he also already gets when Roar and the tier item are stacked. From both, he is still far away, you know, still like at least 6 more minutes away, like more like 5, yeah. Still 5 more minutes away, so until minute 21, I don't think we see Mace Gaming pushing any more advantages here, honestly. They still get the top objective here because they're just having more members there. And now they're looking deep here for the Cassante. But I'm not sure if this is the target you want to dive here. Dai could really just, survive it, maybe even quadra kill them here if they play too deep here. And with that, Dike escapes here, has to use his flash, has to use his ultimate, but he gets away, and with that, Doctor Esports can secure the dragon. And I think it would be a far better idea here to just use the realm orb to get into the dragon range. Diving Cassandra really, really, really greedy here for Mace Gaming. They're not getting too far punished, but they're losing the third dragon. And while I have said that I don't think the individual dragons here do play any role in the game, a Dragon Soul would be really crucial. A Champion Soul would be really crucial for the team comp of Docta Esports, I think. So makes their late game scaling so much. Dynastic is huge. All you need is 6 chainmails. I want to disagree. I think at one point he has to buy one of the big Negatron cloaks against against Rice. You cannot go full armor, sadly, even though it would be kind of funny. It's like a funny thought process to just see Cassandra with like 6 chainmails and then he's one-shotting someone anyway, so it's like kind of funny thought process, but it's like only like 5 more minutes away from being like really strong champion and then also dealing a lot of damage to Cassandra. So Dynastic probably will opt into the magic resist next item. That being said, Doctor though, right now they don't need to fear Mace Gaming that much, securing a mid lane turret here, cementing their lead a bit more forward here. Let's see how it will go. Vamo is like interesting to see that Vamo still can keep his top lane lead. Even though Dynastic is like, Vamo is still so strong that he's not too threatened by the Cassandra. Usually at this point of the game, we would already see that Cassandra is kind of threatening a lot of solo kill angles against the Jace. But, Vamo is keeping the lane dominance in his pocket. Even though he cannot grow his gold lead against Cassandra, he still gets all the gold, so that's... getting all the minions is sometimes good enough. Has 10 CS per minute right now. Really good position for Vamo. I think Vamo is also like one of the better top laners in the league. So nice to see him here on a carry play. Now on the carry play, we see an engage here, but maybe deciding for the wrong target here. They could have sent it on leg, and finally the rune prison will be enough here. Hisu finds it, and with that, kill will be secured, but Kumep is fighting back here. Shohari losing a lot of HP, but in the end, there's nothing they can do here. I think if they sent it on leg immediately, then it would have been looking better, The ulting on Ari here is like, she will ult out. It's not like you can get her. But still nice from Ace Gaming. They find something here. Basically melting the gold lead immediately away. And puts them back into the game here. Especially good that for Hitsu, he gets it. He will be like a really big... Yeah, honestly, it's like kind of crazy, no? Like, Hitsu gets like a big shutdown here. What puts him in a very strong position. Again, it is a Rise champion, so he has to scale a bit more before he's really coming a really big threat here. Now, he has not finished his items yet, and with that, he's just taken out here. He can scale in base. And Docta Esports, they're looking deeper here, taking out the Jace probably as well. Vamo was really far ahead here so far, but now he finally be taken out as well. And with that, Docta Esports, they're immediately, instantly bouncing back into the leading position here. Finding the catches against Mace Gaming and putting their scaling to rest. And they could theoretically look for an early Nash here. But we see good adaptation here from Mace Gaming to just push in mid lane as hard as they can. And I think Vision will probably rotate to the Nash. I mean, it's 7k, it's going really down quickly. Ari ulti now is used offensively against Neo that has to leave, but so far he's not in any lethal danger. And now he's ulting going in here. We have a steal like that seen before. Nash is going down, but who gets it? Who gets it? I haven't seen it. It is actually stolen by Neo. 2 mid lane turrets and a Nash going into the pockets of Mace Gaming, while only at the cost of their support. Really great play by Neo. Something we have seen before, by the way. I have forgotten what series was, but one series of the LRN this week, we have seen a play like this as well, where Nocturne just ults in and steals the objective. Was only a normal dragon though. This time here, Mace Gaming finding a crucial Nash here, but also, losing this Nash would not be like, obviously, yeah, you're getting in a bad position, you cannot push, but also it would have made it very easy for Docta Esports to set up for the soul point, or like for the soul. So, with Mace Gaming now having the Nash themselves, they can probably look to contest this dragon even better. But it's still not over here. Docta Esports, they're finding an engage now, going in here. The question is just who is dying first. Look, he's tanking a lot, but he will be maybe the first one to die. Also, like, Dynastic in the backline will also die here. And only at the cost of the karma, I think. No, someone else died, Rice? I don't know. I haven't seen it. We're going in here now. Lost Jace, by the way. And Vision only finds back. Now, nice rockets. They're looking for more. Realm Warp is used here, and like, he's no way he's getting out of it. Charm connects, but in the end won't matter. And Mace Gaming, they're winning this fight here. Even after it looks in the beginning, it looked kind of rough, you know, with like, you know, Cassandra by immediately dying, only getting Jace in return. You know, I don't know. But then, you know. Yeah, no, I'm yapping shit. I'm so confused right now. I feel like I have Alzheimer's. Oh shit, bro, what am I saying? I'm sorry for everyone that is listening to me. I must sound so confused because like what I said just made no sense. But it is so like I'm so tired. I slept horrible. I had a lot to do today and shit. And the overlay is always delayed, and this confuses me so hard right now. The overlay is like, you know, it is like I don't know, it's like 5 seconds delayed to what's happening on screen. So someone is dying, and then I'm looking at, you know, because it's hard for me to focus right now, and then I'm looking at the overlay, who's dying, and then everyone is still confused me so much. I'm so sorry. But it's fine, you know. Another fight is breaking out. Nocturne ulti is used right now only to make the lights out. Now they're sending it on the Vi here that finds an angle on Hitsu. But Hitsu in the end, he's not dead. He's still alive. Not even losing a lot of HP. Fights back. Now Vamu's finally coming into the fight. Kind of unnecessary to TP here. His team is already cleaning up the fight without him. But they can push the advantage now. Getting more, and with that in totally 3k, 3.5k gold here for the Nash, and this is how you use Nash. For Inori B, if you're still watching, you know, a bit more like this, maybe. Even though not totally like this, I mean, mates, they kind of fumbled it as well here a bit. And onto fumbling, Shuhari, maybe dying here. Nah, they cannot get the kill in the end. Needs to be careful here, actually. Vision could easily kill him, but needs to be careful. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, imagine like buying like full AP, you know, they would kill Shuhai here. Would be kind of funny. It's also kind of funny to see that he's like only like 200 gold ahead, no? Like he has 4 kills, same amount of assists, and he's only 200 gold ahead of the Shed. That's crazy. Chen must have gotten a shutdown, right? So yeah. Interesting to see. Mace Gaming now definitely in a comfortable position, but Docta Esports, they're not out of it yet. They're still fighting for this game. Will be interesting to see here. We see now items, you know, like everyone is on Doctor's side is on 2 items, but we see like next power spike for like champions like Rice will be really important. Like, you know, the actualizer that will be next in the inventory of his so is really important. So the earlier he gets it, the better it will be. Also like Jace here probably soon finishing his Muramana. That will make his Shock Blast also deal a lot more damage. So let's see. But 3.5k gold at this minute of the game is kind of whatever. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, Jace has like a hammer more in his inventory than like Dynastic has resistances, but it is not the end of the world for neither of those teams here. So we will have to see. It will be probably a lot of attention around the next Nash and Dragon Spawn. Nash in 1 minute, Dragon obviously in like close to 2 minutes. It would be a soul for Docta Esports again, but if Mace Gaming manages to get the Nash again before the Dragon Spawn, Docta really have a chance. They can do. I think Docta Esports is a good team, but now it will, you know, now it goes into a very crucial time of the game here. Every lost team fight here could be basically the nail in the coffin for either of the team here. And they're kind of playing around each other. You can see they're looking for those fights here already. Docta Esports, they're kind of right now having the better, like the position around the Nash. But Mace Gaming definitely not weak here. We see a reset from the Corki. Let's see what item he gets. He's probably buying something. The overlay will show. Oh, an LDR here. It is his third item. So a really insane power spike that Corki still gets in here. Squeezed in Bali before the Nash spawns. It is on the cost of positioning though. So Docta Esports, they're already on it. They're immediately starting the Nash too. And players like Vamo, they're not even there yet. He kind of has to teleport. And we see face checking, you know, Shuhari losing a lot of HP. Vamo still not teleporting in here. Mace Gaming, they could be finding themselves now. Finally, Vamo is teleporting into the flank here. 4k on the objective. Vamo is going from the backline in here. Not finding anything, dropping really low. Nash is resetting now, but Shuhari, like Mace Gaming, they're so split here. Neo will maybe be the first that dies here in the end. Yes, he will be taken out. And like already putting Shuhari in a very dangerous position. And I think like, I honestly think like Mace Gaming could have just stolen the Nash there, but they're instead starting to really commit very deep. In the end, Docta Esports, though, they're not respecting it, letting Mace regroup and just die. They kind of split it themselves off. How? Docta Esports, they had the position, they had the fight, but then they're splitting up. And with splitting up, in the end, Docta Esports, you know, kind of losing the situation, even though it looked kind of winning, and I'm a bit surprised. Yeah, why? They were like, it was 4v3, and then they just split up, and it was a 2v3 all of a sudden. And, you know, Dynastic and Kumev just watched their team die here, kind of unnecessarily. It also gives now, like, you know, with the two members of, like, with some members of, like, of Docta Esports dying so late, it gives now Mace Gaming the better position for this Dragon. Obviously, the single Dragon doesn't really matter too much, but it denies Docta Esports another attempt at getting the soul. So really, really rough yet. We see, like, you know, Hitsu now having his third item completed, you know, we in general we see third item also on Kumev, you know, but like this third item on the Rise will be really, really insane. Rise is a champion that we haven't seen much anymore in recent times, and he is going full offense here. Nocturne Ultimate is used, going forward here, really deep here. I'm not sure if Neo is like in a position where he wants to be. Finally, Histo is trying to do damage. The AoE damage is clutch here, and this might just be enough. Realm Orb is now used, but it's only used by one member. Histo alone goes in here, but yes, like, you know, he's so strong here, and this is like exactly. Mace Gaming, they're sending it really deep, but they can allow it. Visium gets another kill, and I think especially the damage from their mid laner, the Rise here, completely shredding to the members of Docta Esports in the initial one. They have lost their jungler, but Docta Esports also having no jungler, so the Nash is on their menu here. It would be the second one for Mace Gaming, and I think in those fights they just look a bit better than Docta Esports right now. Putting themselves in a very strong statement that they can win the game. Let's see what they for items they're getting now, because, like, you know, it could be that Rise is going actually Magi's, and, like, you know, or like two things could happen. Either he, like, either he's buying Magi's or he's buying, let me think. Yeah, he's like, Neo is like really deep, but now the damage of his two is completely crazy. Like, you know, his AoE damage completely shreds to the team. And with that being said, Mace Gaming can then just clean the fight, even though Neo died, getting the Nash too. And let's see what his is now deciding to buy here. It will be interesting. Has actually bought only a control ward, so apparently had not that much money in his inventory, even after the fight here. But it's okay, they can still get a lot of gold with the Nash here. Looking for the top lane outer turret now. Not playing too fast yet. But they also don't have to play that fast, you know, it's fine. They don't need to play that fast, it's totally okay. Let's see. Docta Esports, they're looking deep here. Alo going forward. Could look for an ultimate. Finds even Histo. Histo's a really big target. Yes, he's still alive for now, but now he finally falls. And with that, Docta Esports, they might looking at a winning team fight here, but it's still so hard to execute. Neo and Vision and Vamo having enough damage to still win the fight here, even after their mid laner dies, unfortunately, early. Kumev will probably also die, and if he dies, this might be the end of the game here. But Kumo, he's keeping alive really hard. He's getting the first kill, looking for Neo 2. Now needs to be careful of Shock Blast, and with him like dealing so much damage to Neo and like securing the kill on Vision, he can prolong the game here. Mace Gaming cannot finish out of this anymore. But they're still, you know, Mace Gaming still in a very, very strong position to finish here anyways. And with that being said, interestingly to see here, strong from Kumev here that he can stabilize the situation. I think, like, I like the approach here from Alok, you know, like sending it on the rise. But again, it's like, Mace Gaming really likes to play those comps where they just have 4 threats, you know? And if you have like a 4-threat comp so far ahead, like usually 4-threat comps are not that good because like if you have 4 champions that need resources, it's really hard to make it happen, you know, that all of those characters getting gold, you know, that they need. But Mace Gaming, they always manage it that everyone is kind of in a position that they have enough gold to do their job, to carry their game. And this is like, you know, and with Docta Esports, they're kind of having a low damage comp, you know, not Karma, as well, Ari, they're not having the insane amount of damage. And with taking so long to kill Histo, you know, the other 3 threats of Mace Gaming just doing enough here and nearly acing the game there on the spot here. For Docta Esports, they're getting one more chance at connecting this game here. Maybe they're actually, you know, getting like a lot more time, but because I could imagine that Mace Gaming maybe just plays a bit more slow now, goes for the Dragon here instead, and then we will probably see another, you know, the next game-ending moment will probably happen around the next Nash spawn only, so... For Docta Esports, again, there's this time to get back into the game, but... And Kumev having a fantastic game so far, you know, that must be said, but he alone cannot out-damage the 4 threats of Mace Gaming. It is so hard for him to find a way back into the game. I think, like, also last game on the Kaiser, he kind of did a lot too, so... He is a really strong member of this Docta Esports roster, but he's like, just kind of, I feel like he's not enough, you know? He's not enough, because like, yeah, he is carrying, yeah, he's dealing a lot of damage, but again, like, you know, Mace Gaming just has more damage dealers, you know? Even if he's like dealing a bit more damage in Vicium, that is not enough. You need to deal like, you know, at least enough damage to kind of kill 2 members pretty easily and comfortably, back to back, to have the impact that he needs to have in this game. With that being said, again, we see the game is stabilizing for the moment here. It will be very important around the Nash now. And this Nash is really, you know, this will be the moment. I think Docta Esports, you know, it's like, for them, they're behind. It's really hard for them to play it. They have to, how do I say this? They really have to find Mace Gaming making a mistake. With the quality that is acquired, Mace Gaming, they are in the position where they, you know, if they play it clean, there's nothing really Docta Esports can do. They cannot really pull the rabbit out of the hat anymore. It is like in this moment, you know, it is like, you know, Mace Gaming making a mistake, boom, you're back into the game, you know. But if Mace Gaming just does not do a mistake, will be hard here. But obviously that is not all. Situation is still, you know, it's still possible. It is still possible. Docta Esports believer, they still have hope. But Mace Gaming definitely in the position, in the control, and having the game in their own hands. Let's see. And we see here, Mace Gaming, they're kind of playing this really, you know, they're looking for catches. They are looking for the mistakes of Docta Esports, but they're not immediately finding anything here. First kill, Shohari survives with 1 HP, honestly, and this is actually really good because he can still use his ultimate here. In the end, to revive here. Alok finds his mate. The fight is very split at multiple fronts here, but Vamu is on the backline here, dealing enough damage. He is so fat, by the way. Cypher, the first one to die, and now Kumev. Yes, he is so fat. Yes, he deals so much damage, but in the end, it again doesn't matter. There's just more damage in this of the side for Mace Gaming. They can just do more, and they do more. Is what I wanna say here. They just do more, and yeah, like the 500 GAs is also kind of true, you know? Like, you know, they're finding the damage, but in the end it doesn't matter, you know? If Mace Gaming just revives, who cares? And now, they're looking to end this game here. Neo again goes really deep against Kumev, but he's feared, and with that, the Nexus will fall, nothing he can do, and GGVP Mace Gaming 2-0 here in the series. And I wanna say, it's not like that Docta Esports has like no chance at winning in those games, but kind of dominant for Mace Gaming though. They're having the control, and they are in the position that they have to make mistakes happen. So GGVP here for Mace Gaming, they're getting a lead here in the series, 2-0 up. Really, really nice to see here from the Mace Gaming roster. For Docta Esports, this could be either the moment that we see another 5-game series here. Not that we haven't, we have already seen so many of those. So, honestly, I wanna see, wait, wait. Was the freebie team against Lion was not it was a 3-0, right? Yeah, it was. Okay. So, that being said, we do go on a break though. I will take a break too. Yeah, I mean, Luna, I agree. Mace Gaming definitely has, their momentum is very strong on their side, and their first 2 games are also really strong. So, we could definitely just see here a quick 3-0 for Mace Gaming. Someone in chat earlier just said the Knossos of Latam. And I thought it was so funny, honestly. Like, when I got it, when I understood the joke, it was really funny. That being said, I go in a short break. We will see us in like 5 minutes again. I'll be right back.
Regresamos por acá, compañeros. Las cosas se están poniendo cada vez más difíciles, podríamos decirlo de esta manera. ¿Qué tal viste el juego por parte de Mace, Jetty?
Otro buen juego por parte de Mace. Te decía que yo no veía un 3-0, pero de momento ya se empezó a cocinar el 3-0 porque han sido dos partidas buenas de Mace. Obviamente esta fue un poco más complicada que la anterior, pero la composición funcionaba de tal manera que era... Se sacrificaba Shuhari o se sacrificaba Neo a cambio de que Vision sacara kills, a cambio de que Hitsu sacara kills. Y era, lo decía Matut en el relato, tenían demasiado daño. O sea, había un par de situaciones...
That I will return. On MTV, I can agree. You know, Silver Scrape's always a banger. And Docta Esports, you know, they have shown that they can put a fight up here. But I think, like, you know, it will be interesting to see, you know, who wins, you know, and who loses. I definitely think Docta Esports can bounce back, but the momentum is definitely favor for Mace Gaming. But like we have seen a lot of teams struggle with it, but we don't. You know, it's like if you like look at this week, for example. Yes, yesterday it was a best of 5. You know, it was like nearly a reverse sweep for Kites. But if you look at Monday, for example, Monday freebie team, they also stomped Lion Gaming in a 3-0. You know, so I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I would not say that, you know, it is like got to give in that Latam teams, you know, ego around after they got 2-0 up. I also think, like, you know, I think it would be kind of, like, honestly, after seeing this game, it would be so sad to me to see, like, Gumev just going out of the tournament with not a single win in this series, because, like, so far, I think Gumev plays, like, really, really well. In both games, he has, like, put so much effort in his own hands to make his team succeed, but in the end, obviously, it wasn't enough, you know, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it is you know, his fault. I need to make one screenshot more, sorry. Yeah, okay, now I'm fully here with you. You can clean up some silver by scraping it. It's all real. Silver scrapes is like such a, you know, a staple of League of Legends. And you see here again the damage graph, you know, the Ezreal. I think Kumev, he played so well, but in the end it doesn't matter, you know. He cannot keep up with the crazy carries with... It's so crazy. And Vision gets MVP here. I definitely understand he kind of run with it, you know. They're doing a lot, you know. Nothing bad to say here about him. I think he played really good. I think, like, personally, I think this game we could have also known giving it to Histo. I think Histo was, like, really crazy. I think, like, you know, I think, like, in the end, like, like, Vision did more, but only when the game was already very, very heavy favored for Mace Gaming. But to get to this favored position, I think, you know, kind of robbed from Histo, because he was playing so well in so many team fights. He kind of alone shredded all the members of Docta Esports. But this is all the bodies of the past. We're going back into another game. We have the overlay seems to not working again, because, like, something is blinking. Like this thing here is blinking, the bar here, that it should show you the time. And then the band's looking a bit crazy too. Okay, never mind. Huh? I don't know what is happening, but let's see. We have definitely a Silas band now. Let's see. Yesterday and Monday we had really big issues with the overlay, I think, so maybe that is an issue for today as well. Locking now band as well, understandable. Everything is so far making a lot of sense. It still shows Docta Esports should do something. Oh, an overlay fixed itself, maybe. Maybe. Oh, huh? Where's the ban? Is this Lucian? Okay, but now the issue is I'm not knowing, is this a ban or is this a pick, or the overlay is always like so, I hate when this happens, especially because I cannot listen to the casters because I always want to hear my funky music, you know? It's not my music, you know, but like, you know what I mean. The music I use here. I mean, Yunara response would be making sense here to Lucian. So far, I think it makes sense. Yeah, okay. It looks like this is the draft. Lucian first pick immediately answered with Yunara Lulu. Yunara Lulu is a combo that we have seen, past years a lot, but it's a bit fallen out of favor. I mean, past years, Yunara was only released last year. Maze Gaming, they don't care. They say, okay, bring it on, and they're picking the Milio themselves now. So let's see how the bot lane will go. We don't see Yonada often, so it's a bit hard to imagine who's winning. But I would assume that Lucian Milio must be winning this, because else probably would have seen the Yonada Lulu a bit earlier again. But maybe it's also just a rediscovery from pro players. That could be. Let's see. Trundle now picked as well here for Maze Gaming. It's a really early Trundle. You could say, yeah, but who's Trundle ulting? Isn't he an anti-tank champion? But I think especially with his pillar and he's a really good champion in the early game, so he should considering what jungler's still available. I think Trundle just beats them all in a 1v1. And the pillar is can be really lethal for Yunara. Especially if you compare not compare, how do you say, combine it with champions like the Lucian, that just dashes and deals a lot of damage. And on the other side, you see a Graves pick up here. Ooh. Graves is a champion we don't see that often, but in LATAM we see it. There are multiple players that have started to pick this champion more and more. Especially now where he's buffed again, Graves. The last time he was meta because he got really tanky with his E, the stacking mechanic and the stacking magic resistance. But Riot Games had enough of it and then they removed the magic resistance stacking, but immediately made Graves completely unviable. They probably nerfed other things too, don't get me wrong. But it made him completely unviable in pro play and also was not a big play in champion in solo queue anymore. But junglers in LATAM rediscovering this champion. He got buffed, I think this year again, where he, or maybe even longer ago, where he got his magic resistance stacking back. So he's a far better champion now. And we really see in competitive, you always see this Bruiser Jace that at one point in the late late game, is going for the Yaksho, so to really be a tanky champion. But I kinda have to agree with Luna here, because the Graves we have seen so far, they were always they're I don't wanna, how do I say this? They were okay, it was not oh my god, they have picked Graves, he's so bad, but it was he was just not doing much, honestly. He was yeah, okay, now you have Graves, now what? Yeah, okay, he's dealing some damage, okay, he's tanky a bit, but kinda doesn't really looked better than any of the other junglers that you could pick right now on the meta. But maybe it's especially good against Graves, not against Graves, against Trundle, that could be. We see bans now, mid lane bans are taken out, Talia and Akali. On the other side, we have Abessa and Yorick ban against Dynastic. Yorick was also banned last game, if I'm not wrong. So yeah. Let's see how this will continue. Aurora pick as a blind pick here, and as a potential flex pick too. Definitely like to see this here. I'm not sure how good it's get. The thing is, Yunara and Aurora are really good at team fighting. But I think Docta Esports, they kinda lack a lot of setup right now. It is kinda if I'm Maze Gaming here in this position, if I'm Bamu of Maze Gaming top lane, I kinda know what Docta Esports needs to play here on top lane. They have to pick setup here. If they don't pick setup, it doesn't matter, if, for example, if Maze Gaming picks a top lane that is countered by Vayne and Docta Esports just picks a Vayne now, then, okay. You can do that, but can you execute it on the Rift? On the match point with the back against the wall? I don't know about that one. Orianna is now picked here. Another great control match for the team fights here. gets picked up, and Rumble is picked up. I mean, Rumble is a good blind pick, don't get me wrong, but taking Rumble without setup, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I really don't like this Rumble pick here too much. You know, it doesn't mean that it's bad. You know, obviously you have to find a blind pick and stuff, but I think, like, is it Rumble really it? Especially because, like, champions like On, for example. On is a perfect champion for setup, and he's good against the Rumble too. You know? No, but they're picking Vayne. No, no! This is what I said. Holy shit. Yeah. Docta Esports deciding in the last moment. We could pick that up here. On would be crazy counter pick to Rumble. But what about the Uzi Vayne play? You know what? If Dynastic channels his inner Uzi and just wipes the floor. You know? And I must say, with Mace Gaming picking Rumble top lane, it is not like Mace Gaming had that much setup either. You know? It's basically just a bunch of champions that deal a lot of damage with an enchanter. Like you have like 4 champions that deal crazy damage on both sides with an enchanter combined, you know? It is like completely, we throw everything at the kitchen sink and we look what happens. You know, they say, okay, how about you know, this game will be completely carry game, you know? It will be completely solo queue, honestly. Both teams have like carry champions with little to no setup, and we will have to see who can carry harder. It's really hard to predict who's winning this too, you know. Kind of depends a lot how the lanes are going, you know, how the champions going in. But it's like, you know, OmniTV, it's like for both teams, no? Like both teams are just, you know, maybe we are one-shotting them all, or maybe we are getting one-shotted. Let's see. Like, you know, they're saying, okay, we have better hands, you know? Especially, I think, for Docta Esports sides, you know, they're just saying, yeah, we have, you know, we just have hands and then we're sending it. I think I disagree, honestly. I think, honestly, like, you know, reducing Trundle on his ultimate is always a bit, I don't like that. And even if you reduce Trundle to his ultimate, you know, he has a great target to ult in the form of Graves, you know? So. Because Graves usually go resistance, more tanky builds. Obviously, he doesn't need to, you know, maybe we see like a full carry Graves too. Could be happening, but we haven't seen, like, Graves was like picked like 5 times now, and we don't have seen a single Graves that was going full carry. You know, you always go like maybe one lethality item, then the bruiser item, and then you go tank. Maybe we have seen like a 4 item Graves that only got on the 4th item like tank, you know, but at one point he will buy tank. So yeah, let's see. Let's see. It's like I cannot predict. You know, this is like it will be the team comp of deck sucks. But do you think the team comp of Mace Gaming is better, Luna? Like, are you really sitting here and saying, yeah? I mean, like, look, they have Trundle Pillar for setup. It's crazy. So it will be interesting to see here. Yeah, but both teams are YOLOing. What are you saying, guys? Oh, have you seen Mace Gaming's comp? You cannot tell me that it is not YOLOing. My stream is frozen. Oh, never mind. It is. I thought I have internet issues, but I think it is the you know, there's Latham having issues. Yeah. Do we have a chat here? Oh, they don't have chat activated. Yeah. Do they have sound? Yeah, they have sound. They have the right session music, so. I mean, okay. Yeah, but at this point you could say that yeah, I mean, actually, you know, like what if Grace dashes in and then Lulu ults him? You know, that's basically a Trundle pillar. So. That being said, something happened to the stream. I will look on Twitch very quick. If there are more infos about what happens right now. Let's see what Latam is doing. What if Graves gets Obi ulted? Yeah, I mean, that would be crazy. Okay, let's see if they're speaking about. Let's see if we get any intel. what happens right now, but the stream seems to be cooked, fried right now. The casters were just cut off, no? I mean, maybe he just listen to our. Maybe it's a bit loud, honestly. Right. Until I figure out what happens. Until I figure out what is happening here right now to the Latam Series F. Okay, it seems to be cooked. The mainstream is also cooked. People in chat have no idea what happens, so... Isn't that nice? Oh yeah, this is really crazy. What if, what if Lucian is dashing forward and Vayne is flashing over Lucian and insects him? Have you ever thought about that one, Luna? You know? What if Vayne just goes for an insect? Oh! Things are happening. Big pace. It's just like, what happens here? Do we hear casters? No. So here we see. I mean, so far nothing happens anyways. We are kinda paused. I think the main cast has died, but I thought it goes... we are back, you know? But then we definitely aren't back right now, so... Streaming when spurred. Ja. Okay. Overlay ist der. Do we hear casters already? No. Okay, it's like, sorry guys, I'm a bit confused. This is always like hitting me like, I'm a viewer, basically, like you. I have no intel. I would really love to be more connected with the mainstream. But, I think LOL is Latam, they really try to, okay, we're going into pause. They really tried to connect with their co-streamers. Like, I think they had the idea of having this big concept of, like, for example, asking their co-streamers questions and all of that. But it kind of died out because there was no participation by the co-streamers, I want to say. So... This comment is crazy. Begging for a redraft. That would be honestly kind of insane. Honestly, you know, with my, you know, dissatisfaction in the integration of the co-streaming space and stuff, here, like, in general in the Latam, because I thought, like, they do a bit more. I really hoped they would do more. So... Kinda, let's see, who else is co-streaming this? I am co-streaming this. I'm the only one co-streaming this. Yeah, so that's that. But I think it's a bit sad, you know, because, like, you know, I think Loles Latam, they had this idea of, like, making, we're making, like, co-streamer content, we're, like, inviting a lot of people to co-stream, and then, you know, we make, like, content with the co-streamers where they're, like, recording video bits when they're, like, you know, I'm not sure if you know that, but, like, how do you say, the pop quiz that they do for... The pop quizzes that they do for the, how do you say, for the LEC, something like that they wanted to do too, I think. But it just seems like that there was no big, you know, I think only 2 people of a lot of people have ever sent something in. And I think I'm also the only person that streams every day. Like, most other people don't really stream that often. Like... Well, it's okay, don't get me wrong, it is okay. But I feel sad, because I was really, like, you know, nervous, and I was excited too, you know, about, like, yo, maybe I'm on mainstream and stuff, you know, maybe, like, some cool things are happening and stuff. But, then it kind of died down, and they just, I think they just dropped the concept. They kinda just dropped the concept. They're also not using the Discord anymore, where they had all the co-streamers and stuff. What is a bit sad, but you know, whatever. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm still very thankful to be here as an official cast, because I kind of think this gives me more confidence. So yeah. Besides that, we have to wait. The game is delayed. It is in fact delayed for whatever reason. We don't know yet why. Oh. Game is not delayed anymore. But we don't have casters. We don't have sound at all. Yeah, then let's... I don't know. Do I just keep the Vine music? I mean, it's kind of not that epic, honestly, but whatever. A bit of like jazz in the background cannot hurt. So it's not that empty in the background. I could just do Summoner's Rift music, but I honestly, Summoner's Rift music was harder. Wait. Sorry for was not prepared for this situation. Summoner's Rift music. Boom. And what do we drop like this? Okay. Isn't that fire, guys? Or do you even hear it? You should hear it, right? If music is too loud or quiet, you know, then say. I was not prepared of it. Anyways, we see the game here. The overlay is completely falling apart at this point. We have no, you know, we play League of Legends like this. I have seen like some people saying, you know, what if they just add a League of Legends mode where I don't see your HP bar and stuff? This is kind of a bit like it. We have no tabulator. Huge gank by Trundle. Actually, you're not. You're saying the truth. That's crazy. I mean, we can go back a bit. Wait, honestly, I want to see this. What happened here? Oh, okay. Wait. Ah, yeah, here we see it. Okay. And then I just killed Kumev. Okay. With that, we are back to live. Thank you for the intel, Luna Day. And now we're watching the game. Okay, they have sound again. GG. I did all of this for nothing. What the hell? I did all of this for nothing. Okay, what we see Vayne with the Heartseeker skin. I just wanna say you that back in my days when I started League of Legends, I always I played a lot of Vayne jungle, and I liked the Heartseeker skin. I played a lot. That being said, Grave smokescreen here, forcing the flash of Hitsu here. If that is not exciting from... it's getting better. It's getting fixed here, chat. Don't worry. LRS Latam is good production. Let's hope that they're next year still there, you know, and Riot is not canceling them. Not that there would be rumors around Latam being cancelled again. That would never happen again. Surely, you know, after Riot Games 3 times in a row canceling Latam, it won't happen a 4th time, you know? They surely will not cancel us a 4th time. And then we see Alok doing a lot of work here on bot lane, also kill secured here, but Vamo will also be dying. And Alok on the graves doing a lot of work here, must be said. On the other side, though, Maze Gaming bouncing on the other side back. Killing Lulu, we haven't seen... No, we're killing Kumev, actually. No, wait, what? Who died? Huh? I'm so confused. Is the overlay like... Okay, it's far delayed. Yeah. Okay, overlay says minute 2. Wait, is it minute 2? I'm so confused. No, overlay is wrong. Overlay is wrong. Okay, Lucian and Milio are already level 4 and the overlay says level 2. Okay. Bro, I'm so tired. I have only slept like 5 hours, 2 days back to back, and I'm like really, if I don't get my sleep, I'm really ass. And now, like, I feel like a grandma right now, like that has Alzheimer. I'm watching the game, and then like 2 seconds later, I'm completely confused. What happened? Because the overlay is confusing me. I'm looking at the overlay, it's like, wait. Guys, I'm 26 years old, okay? It's fine. Promise, it's fine. My competitive peak is not yet reached, okay? That being said, we see here the bot dive that happened. Kumev here again, the target. He has really played well the last 2 games, but Mace Gaming, they're putting a lot of pressure on him right now. I'm really booming, you know? Not just booming because, like, I'm a boomer, but, like, I'm booming because I'm mental boom. Being said, Mace Gaming, they're putting themselves ahead. Obviously, the Vayne is also ahead, and, like, you know, but besides that, it looks kind of good. And Vayne is, like, expected to win this matchup anyways. The question is just, how hard will she win? I think Vamo is, so far, you know, always won his lane, you know? So maybe he can bounce back here again. But for Kumev to having a bad one here is really rough, I wanna say. Especially considering in the draft already I have had my questions about this bot lane, you know. And especially against something like that strong, like Lucian Milio. Definitely one of the strongest bot lanes right now that you can pick that is not a mage lane. So yeah. See Alok here on a little invade. While Neo is trying to do a lane gank here. But it's not really like he can find anything. This could be a 2v2. Now they figure out that they have been spotted, but this might be, you know, Alok is coming here. They're looking for a fight. Ultimate of Dyke is used. The smoke screen is slowing them down. Equalizer is put down. Now cancels Vayne out and killed even. Alok is looking for more, but Vamu surely he will kill him as well. Now the slow finally hits him, and with that, hooked and flamed and roasted. Vamo getting a double kill here in this top lane, bouncing him back into a leading position. And I think, like, in the beginning, not that bad, but, like, you know, when the equalizer came down, you know, and was, like, in such a good position, then I think Docta Esports, they should have cancelled the play, because, like, Dynasty could just not walk through the equalizer. But then he was like, oh, but Alok is still fighting, and then he walked into the equalizer, and then, oh no, I get so much damage, and he walked out and in and out. You know, kind of got roasted a bit before then Vamo finished him off. It equalized the fight. I mean, you could say so. Yeah, I think, like, you know, the issue about this game is basically, you know, it is like something we have said in draft already, and while you were like a bit more critical of Doctor's draft than me, but I think, like, you know, the issue is here, if you are behind, what you're gonna do? You know, how do you win if you're behind in with those comps? It goes for both teams, honestly. You know, like if Mace Gaming would be one that is 2k gold behind, we would ask us I would ask the same question, you know. But with Doctor being behind, and they're also having, like, you know, the pressure of being with their wall, with the backs at the wall. It is really, really, really rough, I wanna say. Let's see. A Trundle running at you is a valid form of engage. I wanna say that in yesterday's series, we had you know, Gato played the Trundle, and his running at someone was not a valid form of engage. It was more like a valid form of feeding. That being said, Neo here definitely in a better position on Trundle already than yesterday. Gato were. It's deciding to go the same tank build though, like with the Iceborne Gauntlet first here. In general, an item that gets a bit more popularity. Okay. If you consider that, but in that case, you know, Smokescreen of Graves is also, you know. I mean, obviously, I don't know. Whatever. The only chance of Cypher Panthers, I think. Yeah, but he's playing Aurora. And, you know, Aurora, obviously, now you would say, yeah, but Aurora is the perfect champion to get Pentakill, no? And yeah, but the thing is, Aurora is actually a weird champion if you, like, look at her scalings, because Aurora has, like, really bad AP scalings. Vamo is again the target here, gets exhausted, has to flash, Smokescreen slows him again, but he's still so healthy. Just, oh, the rebounds of the Q, he didn't saw it probably. I'm pretty sure he could have sidestepped it, but in the end, he didn't. And with that, Docta Esports, they're bouncing back on the, you know, on the shoulders of Alok here, on his graves. So after having a very good game on this champion, let's see how he can continue. And again, about Aurora, you know, if Aurora is not ahead, you know, her damage is really falling off. I think she's like, because her AP scaling Like, her AP scalings are not that great, but you still need like your 2 items to like get to the one-shot department. Well, now we see Neo is on Dynastic, but Dynastic Equalizer is not really anything out of the ordinary here, but doesn't matter. Neo is just running at him. And as Luna Day said, it is a valid form of engage. Running at you and jump. One last bite here in vain. Bites the dust. Top side now really strong for Mace Gaming. They're taking a lot of position back and forth here. But it's like really good here, I think. The Vayne, could be one that like, wins her lane really hard, but so far, with the back and forth, not getting positively out of it. So that is a bit unfortunate. Let's see. Still, game is stabilizing for the moment. Dragon technically is up and available. It's too close to his turret, not in any danger. So interesting to see here. First item's going in here. Lucian has already his first item, and we see first item for Oriana as well. But Oriana is having a lot of ages, so I'm not really doing anything crazy. Regardless of that, they are secured, with the earlier resets, they're securing the better position here, and this will be the first dragon secured for the side of Mace Gaming. It is a Hextech Dragon, it doesn't really matter too much. And it is secured nonetheless. We can see here Vision. With his first item already secured, he can play really, really aggressive. And Vamu again is on the menu though. He gets not a single second of time where he is not dived by multiple members. This time the Condemn puts him into the wall. The Equalizer clears the way out, but Mace Gaming immediately finding Alok here behind the turret, bouncing it 1-for-1. And he's just in a position where he can defend his top wave if he needs to anyways. With that being said, so the trade's still equal, and this is like not what Docta Esports wants here out of this, I think, especially because Mamu's not. He's losing away. Don't get me wrong. It's not like happy about that it happens, but for me it's okay. He's like sitting there thinking, yeah, okay. My bot lane is crazy hard winning. My team is bouncing back. 1-for-1, whatever. I already did quite a good job the last 2 games. Right now, I don't need to carry. If I only there for emotion and support, then it's definitely fine for him. And with that, the bot lane turret will be secured here for Mace Gaming. It is first turret of the game. It's going into Vision's pocket. All playthings, everything is already in his inventory. And with that, he has a very early over 2k gold lead. That makes it kind of like, makes you question how can Docta Esports even bounce back into this game? With Lucian having 2k gold lead up. And like the issue is like just, because there's no one that can, in my opinion, like really contest this Lucian, Lucian can just go wherever he pleases and all in whoever he pleases. And, they can just like do nothing. They can hope that Lulu is around for a polymorph maybe, but that's it basically. Has his boots finished now as well as 3 daggers in his inventory. Has immediately swapped into the mid lane position. I think like with how strong he already is, and with the with the grabs in his inventory, he will be like probably getting a lot more platings here on mid lane too. What makes it even harder, This Lucian Vision here. He's one of the best AD carries in the league, honestly, and I think it's a strong statement here. Especially considering that Kumev has played the first 2 games really, really well. But this time with a Lucian first pick of all things. Showing trust in himself, showing dominance, and here you can see the grabs making where usually I'm a big grab hater, but Vision, holy shit, he will get even more gold with it now. Now we see Dynastic though, finds Histo on the side lane, goes in here, exhaust is used. Histo though, he's surviving relatively long, but Vamo is joining in here. Nothing he can probably do. Still looking for it. Pillar is now coming out a bit. I think front of Pillar and Equalizer a bit like, not on the same page, but in the end it doesn't matter. Just get slain away. And with that, let's see Vision here. The bot lane of Docta Esports is like 1 HP here. Vision could just dive them if he finds an angle. Has obviously no ultimate mate anymore. Has already used it. Grubs is bigger than no grubs. I mean, the thing is, I'm not disagreeing, Obviously having grubs, if you're not losing anything, is not bad. But, Oh my god, Vision is flashing forward. Does not get the kill on Lacto, but Alok here. He's also relatively tanky, surviving now the flank here of Cypher, and this could be important if he gets the Vision shutdown. This is big! Docta Esports finding the miracle fight where Mace scaling, they're letting loose, going too deep, but Vamo is like, he's not done yet. He's still trying to fight here, but Dynastic is getting one in return, and now his two is also quite out of position. Shohari here gets chased, a big shutdown for the Vayne, double shutdown even. Exterminio execute for Docta Esports, and holy shit, they're finding a way back into the game. The gold lead pulverized in a blink of an eye. Docta Esports punishing the over-aggression of Mace Gaming and immediately sending them home here. Wow, what a game, what a statement, honestly. Not giving up yet. Fighting the game, and with now the game is basically a 50-50 again. Lucian also, like, his lead gets shredded by a lot, but he's still in a very comfortable position, you know, they can still bounce back, you know. Yeah, you know. Let's see. Mid-lane turret will go into Vision's pocket though. Oh, never mind. He's a bit less confident now. I think he could have just taken it. He could still walk up and take it, honestly, but he decides against it. So, you know, this might be also, like, you know, the Lucia is, like, really still important and powerful. Yes, Vayne now, you know, she got a lot of gold. She probably can match him to some degree, but, Vayne is not here, Vision. You know, you are allowed to step up and do your thing. On the other side, Harald will now be secured. It is traded though for Dragon. And Dragon Soul could be a win condition, depending a bit on what Dragon Soul we will get. But let's see. Hextech and Mountain Dragon would both two strong souls, but we will figure it now out with the slaying of the Mountain Dragon. It's another Shemtech Dragon. I think Shemtech Dragon is, like, obviously the you know the Shemtech Dragon tenacity kind of whatever, the healing kind of whatever, but getting, like, damage resistance and more damage when you're low HP in, like, a game where you have, like, 8 carries, I mean, you take that one. You definitely take that one. But it has to be put in your own pockets yet. You know, it's not like Mace Gaming has an easy game in front of themselves. After they fumbled so hard just a bit earlier, it will be rough to see. Top turret now falls into Mace's hands as well. It is their third turret. On the other side, bot lane turret will fall though. So it's like still probably equal trade in the long run. But Docta Esports, they're not just looking for the bot turret. They're using the Harald very aggressively, but Vision, he could easily snap in, but he just doesn't do it. I think he just should, huh? Graves? Alok is looking for something great here, but the turret is staying alive. And I think, like, Mace Gaming are honestly, if you know that Vayne isn't there, I think they should still look more aggressively, honestly. But maybe I'm wrong. I really think Vision could step more aggressively than he's currently doing. Yeah. I understand. Makes sense. Charted Pillar, like, Charted Pillar or On Pillars are, like, actually, like, you know, it's a good comment here from on MTV, because they're great abilities to cancel an Harald charge, honestly. Because you know, can just put the pillar in the way, and then the Harald, you know, cannot reach the turret. Loses his charge as well. So, definitely something that can be used. Now let's see, how will the game continue? We see Graves now, having finished the second item, and we have seen Cypher also on 2 items. They have said that he cannot carry if he is behind, but right now he's looking very strong, so he can definitely carry 2 ingots here in the middle of nothing for whatever reason. Is this already win trading if you put, like, wingboards in mid lane? Oh, well, why were they picked there? I mean, Aurora is invisible. Probably that's why they were placed. Okay, never mind. I'm taking everything back. Let's see. Mace Gaming. Need to find a way back into the game here. We see, like, Trundle actually not being a carry champion in this game. He decides to go full tank. And build that Gato has, funnily enough, also played yesterday. And he looked horrible on it. So far, Neo is definitely looking better at it, but it is a tank build. What gives you know, importantly enough, it gives like more resources that Mace Gaming can put on their 3 carry champions. So I don't really, you know, I do honestly like the way Neo is playing right now, going into more of an annoying, you know, trying to be more annoying, try to be like a person that actually can face take situations. Kind of like that a lot. On the other side, obviously Graves now, you see a Ruby Crystal already in his inventory. The Thunder Sky already secured. Will probably get also more tank stuff in his inventory now. And not sure, but they're finding a bit of a macro, you know, a macro victory, I want to say. They're kind of out-rotating here, getting like free platings for nothing on this top lane turret. Mage Gaming just completely slow, letting it happen here, not getting anything in return either, so... Let's see. I think, like, in general, like, Mace Gaming, they had so much control. The game was so easy for them to play. And then do they do this one mistake, and then, boom, they just stop playing. Now Dynastic here. Has to ult away. Celeste is condemned. But he is chased, really, really hard chased here. Dynastic is now finally reaching him for the slowest Vision, gets the kill here. Like, gets away with it. He was really close, could have died too. But on the other side, you know, Docta Esports are getting top turret for it. And it's not like this kill doesn't really matter, but if Anukin's here, this could be Nash if he dies there. Stays in the bush, he has to flash out, gets away for now. The pillar is huge. Aurora damage as well. Lulu ultimate is now invested, but Vision goes forward with the flash, finds the first one. Or like, not the first one, but the next one. Secures the Youngler now, and with that, Mace Gaming, they can theoretically look for the Nash here. And this is like, you know, Dynastic dying, I think, like, is already a bit cringe, but I don't think, like, Dynastic dying is, like, too big of a deal, but... Look, just stays there in a bush where, like, 100%, like, Mace Gaming will come and check, you know? But Docta Esports, they're not giving up the position yet. Aurora ultimate is dealing crazy damage. She still can look here and uses her abilities quite well. Is still standing alive. And now Docta Esports, the Vayne is coming in. Dynastic respawned. And finding a lot of it. Mace Gaming, they're looking far too far forward. And if Aurora lives or not, you know, it kind of doesn't matter. Docta Esports, they're cleaning this fight anyways. Dynastic though, Vision, through the exhaust, he kills it, but kind of doesn't matter. I think Kuma, no, actually, Isto can run away. Holy shit. What a back and forth, but I think in the end, Docta Esports, they're getting still more out of it. Even though it looked like completely unplayable in the beginning, Aurora, Cypher, you know, it was prophesied in the chat, and he actually did kind of pentakill them. Yeah, Ori ult missed there too. It was kind of rough in the end, but it was already after Oriana. After Aurora already doing it. But then Nash again. Docta Esports, they're trying to do Nash, but they don't feel confident in this play. Amu is teleporting in, and with that situation is equalized. But you know, what you have expected from those chat comms, you know? You know? Consistent fighting. Both teams, they basically have zero setup. They have just running it and fighting. This is like, in a certain way, it feels more like a beat 'em up game than a MOBA game, you know, because like, it is just you go in and fight, you know? No, not like beat 'em up. It's like an arena game, honestly. Like, if you think about it, it's like basically just arena, you know? You have like a lot of carry champions run in and then boom, boom, you fight, and then you see what happens. Kind of funny. Now Docta Esports, they add the Nash again. It is spotted by Mace Gaming though, but they're still far away here. So... not the easiest position. We also have no teleport here on the Rumble, so Docta Esports, they could close it out here. Finally, members coming in. Histo is flashing for the shockwave! 4-man is found, and Ashto goes into the hand of the Vayne. The question is now, can they win the fight? No. Docta Esports, the 4-man shockwave, 3k Elo shockwave for Rellenlord himself, summoned into the hands of Histo, and with that the Nash might be gone, but the team fight won by Mace Gaming, but an insane shockwave here. Nice flashback from Histo, giving his team the edge that they needed. Clutch factor here, proven by the young mid laner of Mace Gaming. Wow. Wow. I'm speechless, honestly. What a great play here from Histo, the mid laner of Mace Gaming. Cooks them. Holy shit. What a moment. Clipped it. I will have to do clipping later, honestly. This is like something that has to be remembered. That being said, Docta Esports, they're not out of it yet. They still have gotten the Nash. Yes, if you look to the top left, you see that the Nash power play is like minus 3.5k gold, or 3.6k gold even. So, it's a very pricey Nash, and I don't even think that Docta Esports will get a single chance at pushing here. But besides that, they're obviously not out of it. Hitsu can only flash Shockwave all every 5 minutes, you know, so right now he cannot do it anymore. So, you know, you're pretty, you know, it will not happen again for the next 5 minutes at least. That he just flashes over a wall and completely cooks you. Great from him. That being said, TSM, the viewers, I agree with both. I mean, TSM is not really winning, honestly, anymore. But the viewers are really winning here. I really still, like, you know, I'm still flabbergasted by Hitsu's Shockwave. You know, this was like, wow, so clean, so cool. The game is still taking a bit of a slower approach now. There's still a Nash in the hands of Docta Esports. So, Mace Gaming, they don't want to give them an edge to make it, you know, to actually impact the map with the Nash. And we see, like, you know, Adok is actually deciding to not go... Oh. Vamo just died, Mace Gaming. Vamo just dies. Don't know why, but he dies. I mean, Dynastic has used his ultimate. So has the Aurora. So Pillar is now used. Shockwave again. Nice. Finds only Cypher, but it will be a 1-for-1 now. On the other side, we see Lek here. Kinda in the river alone. No teammates around him. And that means Vicium just dashes over the wall, takes him out. And with that, the game is still staying in the state of consistent fighting back and forth on all sides of the map. Action is happening. Interestingly enough, though, the next dragon is spawning at 130, and the next dragon will be, like, really, really important, no? Like, if you look at the next dragon, you think, oh, Vision! Oh, 1 second earlier. And this would be crazy good to catch here on Hadok, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Regardless, next 1 minute, you know, the dragon is spawning. It would be a soul for Mace Gaming, and this soul actually is so good here for Mace Gaming. So, Docta Esports, they kind of have to find the way to do contested, and that means we will probably have a banger 5v5 teamfight again, where both teams carries just completely standing. And here we see Vamo just very confident in his own sideline ability, but he just immediately gets cooked here. I think the Dynastic ulting here is a bit over the top. You know, I think if he could have, you know, if he doesn't ult, oh my god, it is so, bitter. But yeah, that doesn't matter. You know, Vision, he has his ultimate up again, you know, so. He still hasn't have it up, you know, still is like, you know, quite some time away, so it could matter. And Doctor, they're taking the position first here. Shohari is still walking up here out of base, so let's see. But I still think we will probably see, yeah, frame perfect recall, for real, for real. We will see probably a fight around this dragon. I don't think any of those teams want to drop it. I mean, you know, Docta Esports, they cannot really drop it. And I think Mace Gaming, they should feel confident in their abilities to fight here. Shockwave now again finds Cypher on the side. And yes, he uses his ultimate, even if he survives. But he is not. It is already the equalizer from across the continent. Ramu finds it, slows him down, deals a lot of damage. But he's fighting, he's shooting with the Lulu in his backline. Can he find them? Dealing a lot of damage. The members are so low, but Docta Esports, they're still like Kumev is 1 HP, but he can't do it. Maybe Dragon is now secured. Alu goes forward, but now Vision is going forward. Take him out. And Kumev, all the hopes of Docta Esports on his shoulders. In the end, he couldn't do it. So close the members of Mace Gaming were before dying, you know. In the end, it doesn't matter. Mace Gaming should win this game, honestly. I mean, it's not over yet. They cannot finish right now, but they have the soul now. But it's like, you know, it's like now it's really hard to fight, and they're already losing every fight, you know. So to win another fight, you know, Docta Esports, they kind of have to make magic happen. I still think they could, you know. Mace Gaming could make a mistake, bit of awkward positioning. Maybe Cypher not getting catched in the side, you know, in the flank before the fight starts. Something like this could make this game still turnable for Docta Esports, but the issue is just, you know, You know, the biggest issue here, what I have for like Doctor Esports is like the Dragon Soul is so important here in this game. And you have seen already last fight, Kumef, like, he did so much damage, but in the end he didn't enough. And oh my god, Visium is just sending him home. One pillar is enough to make it unplayable for him. He is sent it home, and if they already couldn't kill the members last fight, then they will for sure not kill him anymore. Nash will now also go in May's pockets, and they're looking to close out this game. Docta Esports had 4 damage dealers that were dealing 0 damage to Trundle, and I agree. Neo has like a lot of resistances here now. Also is buying a Knight's Woe, an item that I really like that actually, you know, you say, yeah, Knight's Woe, you know, it's like, it's a tank item that protects your AD carry, but no, it is also heal protecting the jungler, because Vision is just dropping his bomb damage, you know, Neo will be healed from it, so definitely a strong position. Now, Mace Gaming, you know, they only have to close it out. Right now, the members of Docta Esports, they like, Grace has cancelled reset. You know, they could like really finish here, honestly, like getting in-ups and stuff. Docta Esports, they're taking their time coming back into the base, but Mace Gaming, they still have to respect in the end. They have like quite short range combination of champions, so it's not like easy for them to walk in. Wave clear of Docta Esports is also not the greatest beside of Yunara, so we'll see how it goes. But it could maybe be actually that they cannot finish with this Nash here. If that would be the case, I'm pretty sure the Elder Dragon will decide it. And technically, this is like for Docta Esports right now. If they cannot, you know, if Mace Gaming can really not find an angle with the Nash, then they're quite happy with it. You know, because like right now they're lacking the damage, but consider that. What if they get the Elder Dragon in 3 minutes by a steal or something? Then they have the damage. Like with Elder Dragon, they would have damage. So they kind of have to make magic happen to hold out for this moment here. Vamo teleporting very far behind. My god, Vision. Stalling this game out will be a Hercules task. Vision just completely shreds here multiple members of Docta Esports away. With that, the bot inhibitor is falling, while Orlok is fighting Neo here in the mid lane. He's having a quite nice time in this 1v1. Because Neo is literally dealing 0 damage. But Orlok maybe overstayed here. Uses ultimate. Shockwave finds him anyways. Equalizer now. Put in a bit of an awkward position, but it doesn't matter. Jungler is secured here. Dynastic is also having ulted now. And this kind of opens the last inhibitor here for the side of Mace Gaming. They will get the last one. Slowly but surely, they're taking away, step by step, everything that is left of this Docta Esports base. And now they're looking for a finish. They're going in here. Cannot find it yet, but the turret again is losing so much damage while Mace Gaming is pressuring Docta Esports, you know, so hard. They're also like just the minions take out the turrets, you know, in the meantime. And now the last turret will probably fall. Cypher is trying something, but has to respect so hard. Last turret is falling. Aurora ultimate is not really doing any damage anymore. The Luli ultimate is actually knocking people up, but it doesn't matter. Mace Gaming, they're just sending them home dominantly. GGVP 3-0 Mace Gaming, especially in the last game, showing a different caliber here to Docta Esports, sending them home, sending them out. I think, wow. They had this one major fuck up, you know, but then they managed to just come back into the game, especially around the Dragons. GGVP. Crazy game here. Crazy statement performance, honestly. Really, really like to see that. And that being said, I want to, you know, I'm not the person that analyzes anything, so let me speak a bit about next week, because like my stream plan for next week is next week we have on Monday I will cast LRN. It will be Zeus against Fuego, a complete turbo banger matchup. On Tuesday I cast LRS, what will be also turbo banger. It will be 9ZG against Golden Line. So like both LRN and LRS have you know, have the upper bracket, not final, but you know, whoever wins the series will go into the finals, so it will be really, really hype. And on Wednesday, we finally will get back to Brazil, because then I will have time to cast CD. I'm not sure who will play, actually. Completely clueless. Like, my week was so far very very, very tiring. So I had not enough time to check out what in CD is happening so far, has happened so far. So I have to check that. Despite that, we will cast a CD on Wednesday. So we'll be pretty hype as well. Ooh, my OBS is showing. Besides that, this is kind of my stream is over now. I will look if I find someone that I can send you to. I mean, how many viewers do I have? Is it worth to send you somewhere? I mean, we kind of have someone, so we can rate someone just for the fun of it. Let's see if I follow someone that is there. Yeah, I will send you to a high elo European support player streaming right now. So if you want to watch more League of Legends and want to watch English language, then I will send you to Honda CBR 500R. Currently support of Vitality Rising B, and you know, she's playing in Equal Esport Cup finals actually against Mental Rush in 2 weeks. So, you know, good player. That being said, you know, that's it for today. I wish you a very nice day. I hope we see us next week again, and bye bye.